1. Wise people do not take promises seriously in these three situations. We often hear that talking is an art. In fact, knowing how to listen is also an art, a great intelligence. There's an old saying, it's hard to draw the bone of a dragon or tiger just as it's hard to know a person's heart through their face, because we can never truly understand someone's intentions just by their words. People around us can say anything they want, but it's up to us to decide whether to listen. Even if someone is cunning and deceitful, if we know how to listen and filter, their schemes can be uncovered and become difficult to execute. This concept is clearly demonstrated in everyday life, where in the following three situations, words should not be taken seriously, as higher expectations can lead to greater disappointments. In such cases, it's best just to listen instead of speaking. Let's see what these situations are. 1. Words spoken over drinks. There's an interesting historical story about words spoken over drinks. It's said that towards the end of the Yuan dynasty in China, Zhu Yuanzhang and his companions left the rebel army to recruit more followers. When traveling south, Zhu wanted to recruit 3,000 men from a mountain camp, so he visited the camp to persuade them. The camp leader warmly welcomed Zhu with a grand feast. After several rounds of drinking, when both sides were tipsy, Zhu revealed his true intentions. The camp leader agreed and promised to surrender. However, 3 days later, when Zhu sent his men to take over the 3,000 soldiers as promised, the camp leader reneged, leaving Zhu embarrassed and frustrated. Eventually, Zhu invited the camp leader for another luxurious meal, during which he was captured, allowing Zhu to take the soldiers without further effort. From this intriguing historical tale, we can see that words spoken over drinks should not be taken seriously. In modern society, social interactions often involve meals and drinking, accompanied by flattering words. However, once sober, even if people remember the conversation, they may deliberately misinterpret it for their own benefit. At that moment, if you take those words seriously, it means you're too naive. Therefore, if you're at a drinking table, it's best not to take promises seriously and just listen. 2. Flattering compliments. Zhuangzi once said, "The friendship of a gentleman is as insipid as water, while that of a petty person is as sweet as wine." This means that while a gentleman's affection may be bland, it is lasting and genuine, whereas a petty person's affection, though sweet, is easily severed. We can see that the words of a deceitful person are like sweet wine, comfortable to hear but ultimately harmful. If you drink too much, you will lose your reason. As the ancients often said, when unrequested favors are offered, it's either deception or theft. If someone compliments you without a reason, there's likely a hidden agenda behind it. In individual interactions, people often exchange praises such as, "You look great today," "You're very handsome," "I admire you the most." But as the listener, if you mistake these for serious words and boast about them everywhere, you are truly naive, and without discernment, you can easily be misled. We must be cautious with any idea or word that seems too favorable to us. A saying by Tang Jingsong is useful to identify deceitful people and respond correctly to compliments. To achieve their goals, deceitful people will not hesitate to abandon their dignity and flatter others. Therefore, we must be cautious about compliments, look at them carefully and soberly, and understand ourselves well to avoid being deceived. So, in the face of flattering compliments, it's best not to take them seriously and just listen. 3. Social niceties. In meetings and conversations, many people often say caring words that don't really mean anything. For example, if someone asks if you'd like more food, a simple "no, thank you" suffices. Don't think they genuinely care about whether you eat or not. In life, there are many such instances like, "Let's eat together next time," "Make yourself at home." just tell me if you need anything, etc. These are all polite phrases. Don't be naive and believe them. People who say, let's talk next time, usually don't mean there will be a next time. Others who ask you not to bring anything on your next visit, if you really do that, they'll think you're too naive. Those who say, tell me if you need anything, usually aren't willing to help. Therefore, we need the ability to understand social niceties and act appropriately to the context. 2. Do you make money by carrying water or digging a well? Before wells were common, carrying water could meet your immediate needs, but with a long-term vision and wisdom, you would think about digging your own well, which is the real source of wealth. Long ago, there were two monks living in a temple on two adjacent mountains, one named Not-Hu and the other Ni-Hu. These mountains had no water, so the monks had to go down to the stream at the mountain's base to fetch water. Meeting often while carrying water, they became close friends over time. This went on for 5 years. One day, Ni-Hu went to collect water as usual, but didn't see Not-Hu. Thinking Not-Hu might have overslept, Ni-Hu went again the next day and still didn't find him. After a week, then a month, Not-Hu was nowhere to be seen. Worried, Ni-Hu thought, maybe my friend is sick. I should visit and see if I can help. Arriving at the temple, he found Not-Hu practicing Tai Chi, looking perfectly healthy. Surprised, Ni-Hu asked, Not-Hu, you haven't come down to fetch water for a month. How do you have water to drink? Not-Hu smiled, led his friend to the backyard, pointed at a well, and said, for the past 5 years, every day after carrying water and practicing, I spent my free time digging this well. No matter how busy I made time for it. Now I have a well that continuously provides water, so I don't need to fetch water anymore. This also saves me a lot of time to do things I enjoy, like practicing Tai Chi. Smart people always find ways to use their free time to create passive income streams or develop their strengths in other areas for long-term wealth and success. There will always be wealthy individuals in every era, and they are made by their quiet efforts, even if others don't understand. When others finally understand, these individuals have already succeeded and become wealthy. Whether you choose to be a well digger or a water carrier depends on you. Before wells existed, carrying water met your immediate needs, but with vision and intelligence, you might consider digging your own well as the true source of wealth. Of course, digging a well while carrying water requires hard work and more effort than just carrying water. However, once you successfully dig a quality well, it will bring long-lasting rewards to you and your family. Everyone faces 2 types of income: labor income and asset income. Labor income comes from actual work, while asset income can be long-term and passive, like rental income, royalties, or stocks. Labor income tends to decrease as our energy is limited and can even plummet due to a midlife crisis. Asset income, however, grows with asset accumulation and provides a stable cash flow even when we are no longer able to work. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, and the second best time is now. The world does not just have rich and poor people, but rich and poor mindsets. Initially, we all accumulate wealth by hand, but over time, the rich accumulate wealth through assets, while the poor continue to rely on manual labor. Time is more important than money, but even more critical is our energy. We should diligently accumulate assets that can generate passive income while we are still strong, to avoid unexpected events or calmly face life as our energy diminishes. Life is not easy. You can't just have a plan A, you must also prepare a plan B or even a plan Z. Having an emergency fund and passive income sources is wise, and every adult should learn and practice this from now. In summary, to be sustainably wealthy, one must have 3 things: vision, intelligence, and a plan.
If you like this video, please comment 1, and if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
3. Wise people. Don't speak ill of others. The philosopher Democritus once said, "The legacy of a knowledgeable person is worth much more than the wealth of the rich but ignorant." What does this mean? In life, the most valuable thing is the value of the soul. On a train, there was a little boy who looked out the window and exclaimed, "Dad, look, that tree is moving backwards." His father smiled at him. A young couple sitting next to them felt sorry for the father, thinking the boy was intellectually slow. A moment later, the boy excitedly called out again, "Dad, look up at the sky. The clouds are chasing us." Unable to hold back, the young couple asked the boy's father, "Why don't you take your son to a good doctor to treat his developmental delay?" The father smiled and replied, "We just came from the hospital." The couple immediately judged the doctors there as incompetent. Then the father explained, "No, the doctor is very skilled. My son has been blind from birth and has never seen anything, but today he can see the world." Hearing this, the couple felt extremely embarrassed. As we live in this world, everyone has their own challenges. Before we understand a person or their situation, we should not rush to judge someone just based on what we see. If you don't understand, stay quiet, because you never know what someone else has been through. 4. Sensible people don't exaggerate. Anne has been the assistant to the CEO for 7 years. During this time, she has been liked and disliked by her colleagues. Some who disliked her spread rumors that she only got her job because of connections. Anne knew all this but never responded. One day, some new design documents went missing from a department. Everyone suspected Vi, who had previously bad-mouthed Anne, of stealing them. The CEO asked Anne to investigate the incident. After reviewing the security footage and interviewing the remaining team members in the room before the incident occurred, Anne found the documents. It turned out Vi wasn't the thief. She had accidentally mixed the new documents with old ones and stored them away. After completing the investigation, Vi thought she was going to lose her job, expecting Anne to use this situation as a chance for revenge. However, Anne didn't do that. She reported the full truth to the CEO without exaggerating any details, and even asked the CEO to consider Vi's previous outstanding performance and let her keep her job. Sensible people don't exaggerate, even if there were past grievances. This not only shows moral integrity, but also demonstrates strong emotional self-control. Even when you see life's true colors, you should treat it with kindness and tolerance. This way, your good nature won't change, nor will external circumstances change you. 5. Choosing wisdom over conflict. Miss Duong's approach to unfounded criticism. Miss Duong once shared a story about an experience she had while giving a lecture. One day, while speaking to a large audience, a female student loudly criticized her, claiming that Miss Duong was spreading dangerous ideas that negatively affected the student's morale. Miss Duong was taken aback, not understanding why the student criticized her speech. Faced with this baseless criticism, Miss Duong really wanted to prove her innocence to everyone. However, standing on the stage in the auditorium with hundreds of eyes on her, she realized that arguing with the student over a momentary victory could lead to harsher judgments from others. Thinking this over, Miss Duong pretended she hadn't heard anything and continued with her presentation. After she finished, many teachers and students expressed their varied opinions about Miss Duong's teaching methods. She nodded in thanks but did not blame the critical student. If you've done nothing wrong, you don't need to explain yourself to everyone or argue with anyone. There's a kind of wisdom in life called avoiding disputes. No matter how much you argue, the world won't treat you any kinder. Some will agree with you, others won't. As Lu Xun once said, each person's joy and sorrow are unique. Similarly, everyone's perspectives and interpretations of the same event can differ. Some people, out of pride, act unreasonably. We should learn to keep a cool head when dealing with complex issues. Sometimes, choosing not to argue about right and wrong isn't because you are cowardly, weak, or incompetent, but because you understand who deserves an explanation and who doesn't warrant your emotional energy. In life, don't mock others when you are better than them. Don't judge those you don't understand. Don't make up stories about people you dislike, and don't stubbornly argue with anyone when you know it's unnecessary. Strive to live for what you love, writing your own story, one that isn't marred by people who diminish your quality of life. 6. Work diligently, and you'll succeed in everything. Great achievements are not for the faint-hearted. Those destined for great things have faced numerous setbacks, but their resolve remains fiery. They endure hardships that others cannot bear, and thus they reach heights that others cannot achieve. Don't complain about minor setbacks. Work diligently and you'll succeed in everything. Travel calmly and you'll go far. Being too honest is not always good. When being kind to others, one must set limits because being overly honest can make you vulnerable. You must realize that even though you treat others well, they might not reciprocate your kindness in the same way. People are like this. If you are too gentle, they might think you are easy to oppress. They will dump everything on you and blame you for everything. Don't be overly kind because there will always be people ready to take advantage of your goodness to harm you. The more you give in, the more others will push. The more you step back, the more they will chase and corner you. Gentle people are easily oppressed, and gentle horses are easily ridden. In all things, moderation and boundaries are essential. Being too gentle can eventually make you lose your vigilance. Being too humble can eventually make you weak. 7. Growing stronger. The wisdom of resilience and standing up for yourself. In life, if you want to truly mature, you must toughen up your heart. Being kind does not mean allowing others to oppress or manipulate you. When dealing with others, you should be a bit tough, but this toughness isn't about retaliating or holding grudges. Instead, it's about being more reserved and silent because sometimes silence is the height of wisdom. This helps you become stronger and learn to protect yourself. Don't be too shy or overly tolerant. Being a bit ruthless can help you stand firm. If someone is grateful, spend more time with them. However, keep your distance from those who lack conscience. If someone offends your dignity, bravely stand up for yourself. Taking action when necessary is the best and most valuable response, honoring your kindness. 8. Speak sweetly in communication. In life, it's essential to learn how to speak effectively. The saying goes, learn to eat and speak, learn to pack and unpack, meaning every word should impress and resonate deeply with others. Being adaptable in conversation is key. Just like performing different songs on different stages, you need to know how to adjust your speech to suit the situation. In dealing with others, flexibility is crucial. Don't be too rigid. Make others feel that you are worth their help. Just a bit of smooth talking can leave a positive impression. At work, those who are good communicators and can speak persuasively often receive a lot of help from others because people generally feel compelled to generously guide those who seem less capable. In life, those who know how to articulate well tend to do very well socially because they make friends easily and are liked by both adults and children. Moreover, always smile and be friendly when you talk. After all, everyone prefers to be around someone who has a bright smile and a positive energy rather than someone who is always gloomy and cold. 9. Work and handle things just right. When dealing with tasks, Don't rush or just look for immediate benefits, as haste often leads to waste. Being steady and calm is always better. Steadiness is an attitude everyone should learn in life. It's essential to be composed, decisive, rhythmic, and effective at work. If you do your work carelessly and irresponsibly, others will think less of you. No matter the job, you should always consult your conscience, ensuring you are proud of your work and not ashamed before yourself or others. Your words must be measured, not casually spoken or promised. Your actions should be firm, not reckless. Your heart should be steady, not easily revealing your thoughts for others to see through. Small concessions can lead to failure in big endeavors. Those capable of great things have endured hardships that others cannot, allowing them to reach heights others can't imagine. Don't complain over small setbacks. With a steady approach to work, you'll succeed. With a calm approach to life, you'll go far. In summary, being good is a valuable human trait, but your kindness should also be sharp to prevent being taken advantage of, which could lead to harm. Living in this world, one must be a bit tough-hearted. For some situations and people, you need to be a bit ruthless to truly live freely and peacefully. Being tough-hearted isn't something to fear. Being too soft-hearted is the real concern. A truly composed person is humble, not boastful or extravagant, always thinking calmly about issues without rushing, comparing, or envying, being true to themselves. 10. Is it really correct to always maintain a high-intensity work ethic? Ka Hui has been successful in the field of painting, which he has pursued passionately. From a young age, Ka Hui was captivated by the masterpieces left by previous generations. Because of this, he harbored a burning dream to one day have his own collection of memorable paintings known not only for their aesthetic quality but also for their timeless value. Over time, he continuously improved his skills to quickly realize his dream. A few years later, thanks to his relentless exploration and effort, his initial steps brought him success. A piece he meticulously crafted helped make his name known, appreciated by peers for its unique style and creativity, a style previously unexplored by others. As time went on, Ka Hui's maturity in his craft and ideas became more firmly established. Without a doubt, professionals in the field recognized him as a rare talent in the national art scene. His reputation grew, and so did the number of commissions and collaborations. However, since determining his current standing, Ka Hui always believed he had to work harder to maintain his form, striving to create more quality pieces for the art-loving community. There were nights when Hui felt pressured by his own expectations. He feared being overshadowed by his earlier work, worried that his newer pieces might not compare. No matter how excellent one might be, you must agree that we are all normal individuals with regular daily routines, but some manage to do extraordinary work that few can achieve. Therefore, no matter how special, take enough breaks to recharge. In all aspects of life, we can't ignore the importance of inspiration. A person who works with both expertise and inspiration will produce professionally superior works far more valuable than those done mechanically and meticulously. To find that inspiration, we sometimes need to take adequate breaks to recharge and reignite our passion, which we might neglect in non-stop work. Many people, due to their desire to achieve and fear of losing time on projects, find themselves with no room left for personal time. Ka Hui's story is a clear example. In his pursuit to maintain long-term success, he sacrificed much, maintaining a high work intensity continuously, which is truly not advisable. Sometimes, stepping back is not a sign of weakness but a strategy to better understand and outmaneuver competitors, making a more impactful leap in quality. Live for yourself, for your health and happiness, not based on others' expectations. Only then will true success come and stay with you for a long time. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 11. The virtue of speaking wisely, navigating between eloquence and endless babble. Being thoughtful about what you say is a form of virtue. Valuable words should be reserved for those who truly appreciate them, as each word reflects a person's character and finesse. There's a guy who constantly talks nonstop about everything, big or small, all day long, which really annoys his coworkers. If you ask him a simple question, he might take you on a roundabout journey from topic to topic, never getting to the point. Or when you're rushing to finish work, he'll pop up, shifting from one issue to another, dragging you into endless conversations throughout the office. Even during business discussions, he might ramble from Steve Jobs to Bill Gates and loop back to Jack Ma, throwing around big, often irrelevant ideas, ending up with conclusions that are as pointless as the beard on one man poking another's chin. Taiwanese author Kevin Tsai once said, "There's a world of difference between being eloquent and just babbling. Sitting with a quiet person for an hour might feel like 2 because of the tension, but just 10 minutes with a chatterbox can feel as exhausting as a century." The real horror with those who babble isn't just their verbosity. It's that they spout nonsense from one topic to another, not just wasting effort but also the time of everyone around them. 12. Refraining from harsh words is a way to cultivate oneself. Around us, there are always people who speak bluntly and harshly, but believe they are being straightforward and honest with others. While being straightforward is a good trait, it must be paired with tactfulness and expressed at an appropriate time. In inappropriate moments, blunt speech can be cruel, and honesty can come off as tactless. Polite and wise people always know how to put themselves in someone else's shoes, paying attention to the other person's feelings and emotions before speaking in any situation. An old saying goes, "Words are free, so choose them to please each other," highlighting the importance of making both ourselves and others feel comfortable in a conversation. 13. Not making careless promises is a sign of respect. In both our private lives and in the workplace, we often put ourselves in difficult situations if we have a habit of making promises carelessly in any circumstance. If these are just casual commitments, it's generally okay. However, in challenging situations that affect the interests of others, your promise can become a binding obligation that leads to negative consequences for many people, including yourself. A promise represents trust and the integrity of a person and should not be taken lightly or lost through careless speech. In Germany, when tasked with a job, people commonly respond with, "I will try my best," rather than making promises like, "I will definitely complete it well." They always avoid making commitments that risk overpromising and under-delivering. Instead of recklessly trading their credibility, they prefer to be cautious in their words, limiting promises in any situation to maintain trust in themselves. In both our private lives and in the workplace, we often put ourselves in difficult situations if we have a habit of making promises carelessly in any circumstance. If these are just casual commitments, it's generally okay. However, in challenging situations that affect the interests of others, your promise can become a binding obligation that leads to negative consequences for many people, including yourself. 14. Being forgiving by not disputing over minor things. Sometimes in life we can't avoid moments of conflict and disagreements with others around us. These conflicts can either be minimized through skillful resolution, or they can escalate into bigger issues if we persist in unnecessary disputes and arguments. Former U.S. President Lincoln once said, "Anyone determined to achieve great success should never waste time on pointless arguments." Indeed, every time we argue, we might release our anger but lose self-control, resulting in negative consequences that affect both our interests and our relationships. As a result, we leave an impression of being petty and narrow-minded in the eyes of others. 15. Speaking truthfully in moderation is a form of wise intelligence. An old proverb says, "In shallow talks, avoid deep truths," suggesting that we should not express our deepest, sincere thoughts in superficial or fleeting relationships. Most disagreements can arise when we say things that should not be said to those we are not very close with. Even if it's genuinely heartfelt, it's often wise to only say part of what you feel, holding back a bit. With people you don't have a good relationship with, the more accurate your words, the harder they can be to hear, and naturally, the less they are liked. Valuable words should only be shared with valuable people. This is the way of a wise and confident person who avoids unnecessary actions. 16. Lesson on Patience. In Stefan Zweig's book, Marie Antoinette, The Portrait of an Average Woman, there's a quote that says, "We spend a year learning to speak, but a lifetime learning to be silent." Speaking well is a skill. Observing quietly is wisdom. There's a story about a young man who found a very precious teapot. He cherished it so much that to prevent theft, he even kept it on his bedside table while sleeping. One night, he accidentally knocked the teapot's lid to the floor while turning in his sleep. Waking up startled, he muttered sadly, thinking the lid must have broken. "What's the use of keeping this teapot now?" In a rash moment, he grabbed the teapot from his bedside and threw it out the window, then went back to sleep, irritated. To his surprise, the next morning, he found that the broken lid was intact. It had landed on his fluffy slipper. The young man was speechless with frustration and regret as he remembered the teapot he had thrown out the window the night before. What good was the lid now? In anger, he smashed the lid to pieces. After having breakfast and preparing for work, he stepped outside and instinctively looked up, only to see the lidless teapot hanging precariously from a pine branch outside his window. This story surely makes us both laugh and cry for the young man. His actions were a lesson that sometimes things are out of our hands. If he had just calmed down and reassessed the situation, the outcome might have been different. Who hasn't had a teapot hanging from a tree moment in their life? Often we lose our cool over small issues, fail to see the full picture, and make hasty decisions that we later regret and lament. In reality, fate gave the young man 2 chances to rectify his mistake, but unfortunately, he acted impulsively, and thus he lost something precious. It is said that impulsiveness is the devil, and we should always think before acting. If we give ourselves a chance to calm down, think, and act patiently, considering the positive side, our lives might have less regret. 17. A lesson in self-control. A while back, I met Dee, a friend of mine. Dee mentioned that he almost got divorced last month. Known as a loving husband, it was quite a surprise when he said he was nearly divorced. It turns out it was all over some trivial issues. Unfortunately, on Valentine's Day, Dee was away on a business trip. When he returned, he forgot to buy a gift, which upset his wife. "You don't remember our anniversary. You forget Valentine's Day. Do you even care about me at all?" Sitting on the couch, Dee thought about how tired and drained he was from working for his family, and just as he got back, he was greeted with complaints which made him angrily raise his voice at his wife. The argument escalated, dredging up issues from the past, and it ended with, "Let's go to the court tomorrow and get a divorce." The next morning, they went to the court but forgot their household registration, so they couldn't proceed. Both were stunned. Isn't a divorce supposed to just need an ID? At this point, his wife's attitude was no longer as fierce as the day before. She asked D if he intentionally forgot and if he really wanted a divorce. After a night of calm, D's anger had subsided. He realized that their bond was too strong to break. After over 10 years of being together, including a long-distance phase, wouldn't a divorce be a total waste? Then they both went home together, and D immediately started doing laundry and cooking. In reality, even happy couples think about divorce over 200 times and feel like tearing each other apart more than 50 times in their lifetime. It's not that they don't love each other, but in those moments, anger takes over their minds. As the old saying goes, when you're angry, your IQ drops to 0, and making decisions in such a state is the most foolish thing to do. So, when something upsetting happens, give yourself a chance to calm down and don't let angry words hurt others. 18. The Power of Silence. In Stefan Zweig's book, Marie Antoinette, The Portrait of an Average Woman, there's a line that goes, "We spend a year learning to speak, but a lifetime learning to be silent." Being able to speak well is a skill. So is observing quietly, which shows tolerance and wisdom. In real life, many people make a big deal out of small issues and seem unable to let those around them be at peace. The more urgent the situation, the more we need to stay calm. We might not be able to change others, but we can try to change ourselves. Learn to set aside conflicts and anger, adopting a cool-down approach. What does cool down mean? It means when you're feeling upset, don't rush to make a decision. Instead, put that annoyance aside and give yourself 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 hours, or even 3 days to process it. You might find that when you relax, things will resolve themselves in a satisfactory way. Cooling down is a sign of maturity and stability. It's a form of intelligence that can help resolve conflicts and disputes, and it can prevent unnecessary regrets. So no matter how bad the situation gets, don't be too quick-tempered. If you encounter something and can't remain calm to think it through, you're not just losing your teapot lid. You might also lose the teapot itself. When you start to control your temper, good fortune will gradually come your way. Only when you escape the control of your emotions and learn to master them do you truly grow up. 19. The Generous Heart. Read thousands of books, travel thousands of roads. The fastest way to progress in life is by constantly reading and learning. This can truly change one's life. We've likely all met someone who is forgiving and generous. These people don't just look out for themselves. They are always thinking of and caring for others. Whenever someone needs them, they're ready to spend time helping and sharing with that person. Their words are sincere and kind-hearted, making others feel the goodness and generosity emanating from them. Because of this, they inspire many people, influencing others to change their thinking and to care more about the people around them. Generous people are often seen as successful in life, not only in their community activities and work, but also in their personal lives. A special point to note is that anyone can be generous, regardless of how much money they make or how wealthy they are, as long as they are sincere with others. We shouldn't overcalculate the small details. Sometimes taking a step back can open up a wider world. Don't be too preoccupied with personal gains or losses, and be generous when dealing with situations or people who have hurt you in the past. You too can be one of those generous individuals by developing and nurturing your character. 20. Speak with care. People will always have their opinions. Some may praise while others criticize, but no one truly understands your personal experience. Even if you accumulate wealth as vast as mountains, it will eventually be consumed. Good deeds built over many lifetimes can also be destroyed in a moment by careless speech, criticizing, judging, or speaking harshly. Ancient wisdom teaches, speaking too much drains your spiritual energy. Idle talk can lead to unnecessary conflict over right and wrong, good and bad, praise and blame, creating heartache and strife. Buddha also said, "Silence is the true teaching, and speech should also follow the true teaching." Therefore, understand that each word should help others feel peaceful and offer benefits. We should not hesitate to speak such words as they bring boundless good karma. However, we must be cautious when our words could cause others pain or loss, as we will face corresponding consequences. A lifetime of good deeds can vanish with just one malicious remark. Words are free, but choose them carefully to keep everyone's heart at ease. A wise person knows what to say and what not to say. This is also a way of nurturing one's moral character to avoid troubles that come from speaking carelessly.
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
21. Deep learning. Tang Quoc Phien once said, "A person's temperament is natural and hard to change. Only reading books can change a person's temperament. Ancient people valued appearance, but reading can also change one's inner nature." There's no noticeable difference between a person who practices and one who doesn't after just one day. After a month, some small differences emerge, but after a year, they are completely transformed. The same is true for reading and training. Regular readers of wise and virtuous texts develop a different temperament from those who do not read. Some might read many books and eventually forget all about them, leading others to question the point of reading so much. But reading books is like eating. As a child, you may taste many foods and forget their flavors as you grow, but it's undeniable that they become a part of you. Someone who diligently reads books every day accumulates knowledge that becomes ingrained in their soul. Their way of thinking, seeing the world, and interacting with each situation gradually changes, even if we sometimes don't notice it. Like the saying goes, read thousands of books, travel thousands of miles. The fastest way to progress is by continuously reading and learning, which can ultimately change your life. Of course, nothing in the world lasts forever, and every path will change. Thus, each path must be walked and experienced by oneself to gain insights and find one's own way. 22. Broadening your perspective. People often say, it takes a year to learn to speak, but a lifetime to learn to be silent. Some folks get upset over small things, even going so far as to argue with others for minor benefits. For instance, a minor dispute over a couple of dollars at the market can escalate into a full-blown argument, leaving both parties annoyed regardless of who wins or loses. Yet, there are others who remain calm, collected, and unfazed, no matter how badly they are treated or misunderstood. This difference lies in each person's character. From the second floor, some might only see trash below, but from the 22nd floor, others see the beautiful, vibrant colors of the cityscape. The height from which you view things can change your perspective and your state of mind. Life is similar. With a broader vision and a grander character, life can become more serene and expansive. Just like a frog at the bottom of a well sees the sky as a small circle, an eagle soaring high sees the vast, endless sky. Everyone perceives the world from their own point of view. For the frog, the sky is limited to the well's opening. Your vision shapes your judgments and ultimately, your character. 23. Hard work and persistence. The path to achieving your goals. Everyone has goals, whether big or small, and achieving these goals requires work. The more effort you put into your work, the greater your achievements will be, allowing you to turn your goals into reality. A common trait among successful people is their relentless effort and persistence. They can endure more hardships and strive harder than the average person, often working more than others. For example, if someone is a successful scientist, they must have put in a lot of hard work and overcome numerous failures to achieve success. No one is an exception. All successful people have had to work hard. Developing a positive work attitude is extremely important. Once you possess the quality of not fearing difficulties, being willing to endure hardship, and having the courage to think and act with persistence, you can succeed in any job and in any competitive situation. Bill Gates believes that surpassing what others expect of you is very valuable and helps broaden your perspective on your career. If you only do your job mechanically, you won't fully understand the profession you are pursuing. In work, it is essential to put in effort and be bold in exploring new avenues. 24. Everyone hopes to achieve great things in life and reach the peak of their careers. Life awakens as we move forward. Over time, our efforts and experiences will flourish. No matter what career path you choose, it takes years of accumulation. Even in everyday jobs, we must strive to do well, continually improving every day. 25. Longevity in life. We can't choose life, but we can choose how to live it. We should be tolerant and generous, not overly eager for fame or fortune. Whether it's a cool breeze or a light rain, both have their elegance and charm. We should approach our tasks leisurely and calmly, finding joy whether we're looking up or bowing down. By not overexerting ourselves or being deceitful and appreciating the simple, genuine aspects of life, we can nurture our well-being. Ultimately, we should remain composed about the gains and losses of the world. 26. Making peace with yourself, going with the flow. Have you ever put a lot of effort into a subject only to end up with grades that disappointed you at the end of the semester? This probably left you feeling down for quite some time. This year, you aim to earn the Employee of the Year award. Excited, you plan diligently, working hard not only in your job but also in tasks outside your expertise whenever assigned by your superiors. However, someone in another department may have outperformed you, and you didn't achieve your initial goal. In life, many things don't go as planned despite our efforts. We often face factors and circumstances beyond our control, and sometimes we just have to accept that things didn't work out as planned to ease our minds. After such failures, you might have spent days feeling restless and uncomfortable, sometimes wishing you could just give up and lead a simpler life without struggles. You might think, why bother when everything seems to negate my efforts? But if you look at it from another angle, have you considered how much worse things could be without specific goals? One person's routine might be another's dream. While chasing your goals, you might overlook the joys along the way. We often regret the past, even lingering over long-gone moments, wishing we had done better. Mistakes are natural, and through them, we learn where we need improvement. After each fall, it's crucial to stay clear-headed, analyze what went wrong, and take valuable lessons forward. So after a setback, don't confine yourself to negative thoughts or harsh self-criticism. It's not that you didn't try your best. Maybe you just haven't figured out how to perfect your approach. It's easy to advise others in their troubles, but facing our own challenges can be daunting. To create beautiful sculptures, craftsmen endure many mistakes and learn over time. Yet, we often only see the final masterpiece, unaware of their initial struggles. Similarly, when things don't go as planned in our lives, it might feel overwhelming. Few can stay calm and learn from their mistakes, adjusting their actions for better future outcomes. Often, we dismiss everything we've invested our hearts into just because we think we are wrong. Don't be too hard on everything, especially yourself. We're all just ordinary people on this earth with no magical powers to foresee and dodge the future. Sometimes the mistakes we make are not just missteps, but are efforts worthy of recognition. 27. 5 emotional traps wealthy people avoid falling into. When you ask a successful person about their journey, you'll often hear about the anxieties, fears, and disappointments they've endured. No matter what aspect of yourself you want to improve, career, finances, or social relationships, there are always emotional traps lying in wait. How do you face them? Susan David, a psychology expert from Harvard University, has outlined ways to recognize and handle these obstacles in her book, Emotional Agility. Emotional trap. 1. Fear of social pressure. People tend to follow the crowd because things are much easier and quicker if we do what everyone else is doing, writes Susan David. Therefore, when you decide to pursue something different, like an unusual field of study or a new lifestyle, you inevitably face social pressure and accompanying emotions: insecurity, hesitation, doubt, self-comparison, and loss of motivation. Imagine you are a freshman dreaming of becoming a doctor, but you grew up in a culture that tells you girls are bad at science. Then, you perform poorly on your first biology test. Chances are you might switch majors and give up your dream. The solution, according to the author of Emotional Agility, is to know what really matters to you. What values can or can't you compromise on? Passion, kindness, environmental protection, integrity. Susan David believes that solid values provide you with more willpower and resilience, helping you better withstand criticism, stereotypes, and narrow beliefs. Emotional trap 2. Regretting comfort and the old you. When upgrading yourself, many mourn the comfort and familiarity of the old ways, hesitating to move to a city with more opportunities due to current relationships, not starting a business for fear of losing job stability. Uncomfortable feelings also stem from letting go of an old identity. It's often hard to explore new things when we're still clinging to a golden past, like being a top student or an excellent employee. Every choice involves a loss. You give up the path you didn't choose, and any surrender brings sadness, pain, or even regret, Susan writes. Her advice is to let go of outdated desires while reinforcing the meanings you'll perceive when acting in alignment with future goals. Emotional trap. 3. Discomfort with new endeavors. Besides letting go of the familiar, the idea of doing something new also brings negative emotions. Changing and innovating yourself is not always fun or easy, at least in the process. For instance, if you fear social interactions and someone invites you to a party, your most likely reaction might be to decline. However, if attending the party is meaningful to you or nurtures new values like friendship or networking, you'll try to overcome your fear and accept the invitation. When you attend, you'll experience another uncomfortable feeling, greater than if you had stayed home. These initial discomforts are the ticket price you pay for a more meaningful life, Susan asserts. Emotional trap. 4. Overwhelm when pursuing new goals. Once you've chosen to head towards your ideal life, the next emotion to watch out for is stress and overwhelm. Change takes time. You can't lose 10 kilograms in a week, switch professions instantly, or become a master artist overnight. The trick here is to step out of your comfort zone slowly. The best upgrade is small adjustments and gradual progress, advises Susan David. In emotional agility, the psychology expert encourages you to place yourself at the edge of your abilities, a position where you're neither complacent nor overwhelmed. Emotional Trap 5. Not accepting the difficulties of an ideal life. Finally, once you're living your dream life, you'll find that discomfort doesn't disappear. Sometimes, living true to your beliefs means choosing a path that makes life tougher, and you'll still face discomfort, stress, and conflict. Susan provides many vivid examples in Emotional Agility. Elizabeth Gilbert, author of the famous book Eat, Pray, Love, found that although she loved writing, focusing solely on writing made the creative process very challenging. Or consider Jane Goodall, a celebrated conservationist, who often shed tears over personal sacrifices. A friend asked her why she was so sad. Goodall's response, as recounted in the book, was surprising. "I told my friend, I think I cry because I know I'm giving up the right to be selfish." Sounds strange, doesn't it? If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 28. Good speech can lead to good fortune. Throughout history, there have been many lessons about people who face problems because of careless speech. Speaking and communicating effectively can be seen as an art that, if mastered, also means mastering one's own destiny. Truly intelligent people will never do the following 2 things. 1. Dishonest speech. Life is really quite simple. The way we treat life is exactly how life treats us in return. Some people like to manipulate others in their communication to gain an advantage. Others might exaggerate their abilities to the skies as if they are the best. However, not everyone is gullible. If the other person is smart enough, they will see through these deceptive tactics. The outcome of dishonesty is that it eventually harms the speaker himself. Instead of putting on an act or trying to sound clever, simply be honest and straightforward. Being genuine is the best way to gain others' trust, and only by doing so can your career and life truly flourish. 2. Ugly remarks about others. Many people are overly indulgent with themselves while being harsh on others. In their view, others always do things wrong and have flaws everywhere, and they like to blame. But blaming is easy. Doing it themselves might not be. Everyone has their own limits and ugly scars they don't want to reveal. Your words can inadvertently hurt someone, damage their reputation, or offend their dignity. Therefore, don't use stories as gifts or speak ill of others for entertainment. Endless trivial chatting throughout the day is just a waste of time. Truly smart people know to keep their mouths shut and not get involved in gossip. Instead, speak less and act more effectively, which is a wise way to behave. Instead of talking a lot, show your quality through your actions. Only good actions will earn you respect and admiration from others. Of course, this is hard to do, but those who manage it are the ones who succeed and build great careers. 29. The beauty of humility. Why humbling yourself can make you more admirable. Being humble, or lowering your head, is about acknowledging your flaws and continuously striving to improve yourself. Humility isn't just about submitting, it's about knowing how to behave respectfully. In life, each challenge can be like a door that doesn't quite fit our size. Sometimes it's lower than our head, other times it's as narrow as half our body. To get through these doors, the wise lower their heads and bend, while the stubborn may hit the wall, injuring themselves without making it through. It's best to take firm, humble steps forward rather than being arrogant about temporary successes or getting discouraged by momentary failures. When we are young, we often want to assert ourselves, filled with determination and ambition. While this is valuable, it can also lead to arrogance, complacency, competitiveness, and a lack of humility. Overconfidence can prevent us from learning from others. If you stop learning, you're essentially losing the game. In Japan, there's a saying, "The heavy ear of rice bends low." Learning to lower your head is an essential skill. It isn't about being timid or weak, but about having the depth and sharpness of skills accumulated over time. Great figures throughout history have often been humble. Isaac Newton saw himself as a child playing on the beach who had just found a pretty pebble, while the vast ocean of truth lay before him. He famously said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." He never dared to call himself a giant. 30. Working at a 90-degree angle, straightforward, fair, and upright like a true gentleman. A 90-degree angle represents something that is straight and correct. Just like this, when people work, they should be straightforward, fair, honest, and transparent, resembling a true gentleman. Living honestly and fairly according to one's conscience is not easy. We often justify our actions by saying others do it, so why shouldn't we? Or by thinking that being honest usually leads to disadvantages. Therefore, many give in to the temptations of materialism and money. To achieve this, we must let go of selfishness, avoid biases and personal dislikes, and refuse to settle for weak compromises. It takes courage and determination to consistently do the right thing, even when no one is watching, and to make tough choices. Or, you might find honesty in being true to yourself and your words, especially when facing serious consequences from the choices you make. Consider this. By maintaining fairness and giving due recognition to those who deserve it, you are also helping to make the world a better place and life more worth living. Living uprightly and without regrets or shame is like being majestic and resilient, like the pine or cypress trees, symbols of the noble character of gentlemen from the past. This is a type of character and wisdom that requires continuous cultivation and patience. 31. 180-degree turn. Treat others with sincerity. 180 degrees represents a straight line, symbolizing the importance of sincerity in life. It's about treating others with honesty, directness, and without deceit. We should not pursue personal gain or temporary glory at the expense of others. Sincerity is always highly valued in society. People often believe that an ugly truth is better than a beautiful lie. Those who live sincerely are naturally attractive because humans are inclined towards truth and righteousness. Sincere people are trusted and become a warm, supportive presence for friends and family. Around sincere individuals, we feel secure and peaceful without the need for suspicion or caution. There's a saying, "Lose trust once and all is doubted." Money can be earned back, but once credibility is lost, it's like spilt water, hard to recover. Deceit harms the deceiver more than anyone else because justice ultimately prevails. Even if one temporarily gains status or wealth through dishonesty, the consequences of harming others must be fully faced and repaid. Thus, being sincere is beneficial not only for others but primarily for oneself. True sincerity is not just about words. It's about deeply rooted intentions and genuine emotions that can truly influence others. However, sincerity must be expressed with tact, respect, kindness, and cultural awareness, or it can become crude and unacceptable. It's important to distinguish between true wisdom and mere cunning. The latter seeks only personal gain. Living sincerely is the highest form of wisdom. 32. 360-degree conduct, achieving thoroughness, consideration, and perfection. The term 360 degrees refers to a full circle, symbolizing a complete and perfect approach to handling work and behavior. In our work environment, we encounter various types of people, each with their own work ethic. Some are diligent and aim high, Others are relaxed, and some are negligent, doing just enough to get by. Work attitude significantly impacts performance. While we can't specify which attitude always yields the best results, successful individuals often share a similar work ethic. There are generally three types of workers. 1. The negligent ones. They might say, "Why work hard if everyone gets paid the same?" They're often late, ignore responsibilities outside their duties, and aren't proactive in solving additional problems. When peers get promoted, they console themselves thinking that promotions are rare and most people are just like them. 2. The complainers. These individuals are often disappointed and pessimistic, blaming others for undesirable outcomes. They might have potential, but their gloomy outlook hinders their abilities and enjoyment of their work. This negative attitude can also affect those around them. 3. The proactive and ambitious. They are always busy at work, optimistic, and enthusiastic. Even in challenging times, they actively find solutions. Their trustworthiness makes them beloved by colleagues. Despite a busy schedule, they maintain an optimistic attitude, finding joy through their belief in their work. Ultimately, the first type of worker is easily replaceable by those who are enthusiastic and dedicated. The second type struggles with instability and earning trust from leadership, making promotions difficult. The third type, however, is likely to succeed and find joy in their work. To become like the third type, we must strive to complete each task thoroughly and precisely, no matter how small. We should manage relationships well, using honesty and confidence to gain understanding and trust from others. This will lead us to an ideal, perfect state. Achieving this requires a sincere and straightforward heart, empathy, and the ability to put ourselves in others' shoes. This enhances cooperation and is the behavior of a wise person. Success is never easy. Just as gold must be refined in intense heat to remove impurities, achieving success requires strict discipline, patience, and personal development. This way, life can reach a state of full and perfect fulfillment. 33. Be alert in prosperity, calm in adversity. During prosperous times, it's important to remain alert, and in tough times to stay calm. Blessings and good fortune are created by our own actions. Nowadays, we're often so busy with daily life that few of us find the time to reflect on our lives. We all admire the success and luck of others, but rarely consider why those around us might be continuously successful. In reality, success is partly due to luck and partly due to individual effort and perseverance. An old saying goes, "Know yourself and your enemy, and you will never be defeated in 100 battles, and striving to do your best can bring you happiness." Here are 2 rules for interacting with others that many successful people remember. 1. Do not be complacent about your success. Always be prepared for any dangers. Hard work doesn't mean you can relax forever. We must always be vigilant and wise, constantly striving to do well in our jobs. When times are good, we must innovate and create more opportunities to elevate our success even higher. Advancing your career doesn't mean stepping on others. You should rise on your own abilities. In life, knowing when enough is crucial. Excessive greed often leads to more losses than gains. 2. Use reason to deal with problems. Life is a mix of good and bad, happiness and sadness. The most important thing when facing difficulties is to maintain your composure and never lose confidence or give up in the face of life's storms. Blaming fate only makes things worse. By keeping a strong spirit through the ups and downs, you'll find that when one door closes, another opens. There are no insurmountable obstacles as long as you believe in yourself. Don't give up on the future and maintain a stable mindset. Soon, luck will smile upon your efforts. For instance, The life of Chu Thoi Keen can be described by his great ups and downs. He rose from the depths of despair to achieve resounding success, admired by many. He shared, "When facing failure, don't view it negatively. Instead, try to see it more positively. It's not easy to stay calm, but the more you despair, the harder it is to stand firm. Don't worry about what others think. Just believe that tomorrow will be better than today, and that's all you need to move forward. In prosperous times, stay alert. In difficult times, remain calm. We create our own blessings and good fortune. As long as we understand the true meaning of life, we can lead a happy life."
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
34. The wisdom of Jiro Ono, mastery and meticulousness in sushi making. Being too clever can sometimes backfire. Rushing can lead to mistakes, so don't think being smart will prevent failure down the line. Those who appreciate Japanese cuisine, especially sushi, might know of Jiro Ono, famed as a master sushi chef and owner of the prestigious 3-star Michelin restaurant, Tsukiyabashi Jiro. He once shared that one of the secrets to his world-class sushi is the quality of the rice. To ensure the rice is of the highest quality, he uses 3 different types of water, one for soaking the rice, another for rinsing it, and a third for cooking it. In a pot of sushi rice, he never allows more than 4 grains of inferior quality. When asked, would someone notice if there were more than 4 poor quality grains? Jiro Ono replied, "No, only I would notice." They then asked, "If the customer won't notice, why do you care?" He was called foolish for his meticulousness. Jiro Ono shook his head, disagreeing. Only the clever business people cut corners to gain quick benefits, but he only wants to be a sushi chef. In this world, there are many who consider themselves smart, but how many are foolishly committed to their principles like Jiro Ono? Everyone wants quick profits and tries to find shortcuts, but they forget that moving too fast can make you stumble. 35. Being smart versus being wise. A year after graduating top of his class, a student had already switched jobs 6 times. Every few months at gatherings, he would share that he was about to start at another company, finding his previous jobs too dull and unchallenging, fearing he might miss out on future growth opportunities. His close friend advised him to slowly accumulate work experience, but he wouldn't listen and even scorned his friend, saying, "Slow like you is just wasting time." As time passed, he continued to search for his dream job without success. Gradually, he realized that his peers had gained significant experience in their fields, while he still had none. When others had become skilled and could handle any issue professionally, he was still struggling through training programs for new employees everywhere. Those who consider themselves smart but lack experience often forget that sustainable development is more important than rapid progress. Don't let your intelligence be your downfall. 36. Slow and steady wins the race, slow but far-reaching. Some people believe that in today's society, full of traps and cutthroat competition for every little thing, ignorance only leads to a loss of survival skills and self-protection. If you don't learn to be smart, you'll eventually become a stepping stone for someone else's success. Thus, everyone uses all their intellectual assets in fierce competition. Some achieve immediate success and feel pleased, but quickly fall behind. On the other hand, those who may not be very smart but steadily work hard often end up being the last one standing. While working at Tencent, Zhang Xiaolong, the creator of the WeChat app, was mainly responsible for managing QQ Mail, a Chinese messaging software. He required each product manager to gather 1,000 user feedback responses and conduct at least 10 large-scale surveys each month to explore ways to improve service quality. At the time, Zhang Xiaolong's methods met a lot of resistance because it was thought he could just learn from similar apps without needing to waste manpower on this. To this, Zhang Xiaolong simply said, "It's not about design, it's about solving problems." QQ Mail didn't need a unique design style, but it needed to clearly understand customer preferences to maximize user convenience. Only then could the QQ app lead the country in just 4 short years. Later, Zhang Xiaolong launched WeChat, which now has over 1 billion users and a commercial value in the trillions of VND. Each ad displayed on the app could earn tens of millions of yuan, but he never turned WeChat into an advertising tool. A product aiming for longevity should never be too eager for profit. Some thought his approach was foolish, but for Zhang Xiaolong, the most foolish approach is to offer a product that serves users from a business standpoint, not a user-centric one. When smart people look at a problem, they see many different paths and want to choose the shortest one. But when they encounter difficulties, they quickly turn back to find another way. In contrast, the foolish ones persist, moving forward step by step toward their ultimate goal. They struggle through hardships and quickly handle dangers, each step slow but steady. In the end, who is truly wise is determined by the path of their growth. 37. 10 key principles to understand the difference between wealth and poverty by age 35. Losing sight of your goals means losing your way. Therefore, it's essential to clearly define who you are and what you aim to achieve. Your life, whether rich or poor, flourishing or just a faint speck in the noisy crowd, stems from your attitude. If you follow these 10 pieces of advice, you are likely to have a stable career and a promising future. 1. Set personal goals. 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "Losing sight of your goals means losing your way." So, define who you are and what your goal is, and work hard to improve yourself. Don't settle for just getting by in life. Focus on achieving meaningful results rather than just seeking ordinary praise from others. To progress, you must embrace change. By doing so, others will see you as a serious and purposeful person. T.S. Eliot, an American poet, told us, "Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go." Similarly, writer Washington Irving said, "Great minds have purposes, others have wishes." 2. Trust yourself. Your self-image reflects what others trust in you based on your capabilities. Trust in your abilities and understand that every problem has a solution. Be self-reliant and do not wait for others to solve things for you. Challenging yourself leads to more progress than just competing with others. Stay motivated. Be passionate about your bright future ahead. Start your own journey and prepare mentally to face future challenges. Don't get distracted by fear of criticism, rejection, or failure. Do not worry that you are caring too much. Chuck Norris, a military figure and television star, said, "Always remember that your success begins from within you. If you can't see it, nobody else will be able to either." 3. Prioritize. Determine what is most beneficial for you and focus on accomplishing these things no matter how challenging. Be an effective time manager and balance physical, mental, and spiritual activities. Avoid saying yes to everything and everyone. As the Portuguese say, easier said than done. 4. Understand and be patient. Working means you are eliminating frustration, anger, impatience, selfishness, ignorance, laziness, envy, hatred, and negative thoughts from your life. It also frees you from personal biases. Respect others' rights and remind yourself not to engage in conflicts. Do not waste time feeling superior to others. As William Jennings Bryan, a three-time presidential candidate and orator, once said, "Never be afraid to stand with the minority when the minority is right, for the minority which is right will someday be the majority." 5. Maintain a positive attitude. Understand that a bright future lies ahead because you are the architect of your future. Be proud of even small changes as they will ultimately contribute to your success. Realistically, accept life's troubles and choose to address them with a positive attitude. Listen to your conscience. Although there are no guarantees, do what you desire. Your life is defined by your actions and beliefs. Enjoy life. Learn from books and films, and trust yourself. Do not let doubts destroy your dreams. Gandhi taught, "If I believe I cannot do something, it makes me incapable of doing it. But when I believe I can, then I acquire the ability to do it, even if I didn't have it in the beginning." 6. Stay curious. As an African proverb goes, not to know is bad. Not to wish to know is worse. You can learn anything you desire. Seek advice from others and listen to their suggestions. Be interested in all aspects of life and eager to learn more. Keep an open mind because life then becomes a marvelous exploration. You'll discover new opportunities for learning. Schools, courses, discussions, lectures, websites, books, videos, and magazines are great learning resources. Remember, a clever person can outsmart a strong one. Don't fear the truth or hesitate to say, "I don't know." As British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli emphasized, the wise man asks questions. 7. Seek support from others. Walt Disney said, "All you have to do is be honest about what you don't understand, and then you will find out who is willing to enlighten you." When helping others, do not take too much pride in it as you might need their help again. Be strong as if you were alone, and you will realize you are not. Be lovable, and many will love you. Be inquisitive, and many will want to assist you. If you are kind, many will want to help you and befriend you. If you are religious, place your trust in God. Benjamin Franklin emphasized, "He that won't be counseled can't be helped." 8. Acknowledge fears and weaknesses. No one is perfect and without fears. Be strict with yourself. By honestly recognizing your weaknesses, you are already halfway to correcting them. Face your fears, and this will shape a positive character. Be prepared to face dangers as you experience life's full spectrum. T.S. Eliot noted, "Half the harm that is done in this world is due to people who want to feel important." 9. Learn from mistakes. The difference between successful people and others is not whether they make mistakes, but how they handle those mistakes. Recognize what went wrong and what you can do differently. Develop new strategies and plans and try again. Remember your past successes. Mistakes are only temporary. Overcome them. Winston Churchill bravely admitted, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often." 10. Pursue high standards. Identify your strengths and work to achieve the highest level of excellence in those areas. Be proud of your integrity, honesty, and belief in fairness. Remember, lying leads to more lies. Therefore, commit to doing your best, which will benefit those you meet and work with. Do not compromise your core principles and standards. Despite being blind and deaf, American author Helen Keller inspiringly said, "Many have a wrong idea of what constitutes true happiness. It is not attained through self-gratification but through fidelity to a worthy purpose." If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 38. Achieving great things begins with how you speak. Language reflects a person's awareness and thought process. To gain respect from others, you first need to control what you say. In public places like streets and buses, we often hear people using crude language. Showing whether one is educated or well-mannered involves paying attention to the following 6 issues. 1. Discussing someone's private secrets. Talking without causing harm is tough, but inviting trouble is easy. Smart people speak cautiously to everyone. If you discuss someone's secret, even accidentally, they might fear others will learn their secrets and blame you for revealing them. Therefore, you should avoid discussing other people's secrets. 2. Exposing a friend's hidden intentions. If someone has a hidden agenda and tries to keep it secret and you are close to them, they might suspect and resent you if they think you know their intentions. In such cases, it might be best to pretend you don't know anything about these issues. 3. Revealing someone else's secrets. If you're involved in a confidential discussion, you might be trusted, but you also pose a potential risk. Even if you keep secrets, if someone else reveals them, it could put you in a difficult position. You should try to show your integrity and find out who might be revealing the secrets. 4. Making random comments. If people don't know or trust you well, trying to please them with overly familiar words can backfire. Even if the outcome is good, they may not appreciate you more, thinking you were just lucky. So it's better not to say anything at all. 5. Revealing others' mistakes. If you're aware of someone's significant mistake, openly advising them might embarrass them, leading to resentment and conflict. It's best to remain silent or give gentle, tactful advice. 6. Forcing others to do unwanted tasks. Forcing someone to do something they dislike or are unable to do is inconsiderate. If someone is already committed to a difficult task, forcing them to stop can also be problematic. It's best to advise them on what they should or shouldn't do, allowing them to make their own decisions. If they don't take your advice, look for another opportunity to help without imposing. In reality, the best strategy is to guide people to understand and act on their own, or to stop when necessary. Forcing issues can damage relationships. 39. The birdcage effect. Psychologist James and physicist Carlson were close friends. One day, James told Carlson, "I'll make you end up keeping a bird." Carlson listened but didn't really pay attention to James's words. Within a few days, James gave Carlson a beautiful, intricate birdcage as a gift. Soon after, Carlson noticed something strange. Whenever friends visited his home and saw the birdcage, they almost always asked him where the bird was. Initially, Carlson simply repeated to his friends that he never kept birds and that the birdcage was just a gift from someone else. However, his friends continued to ask similar questions, which annoyed him. Finally, one day, Carlson went to the store, bought a bird, and put it in the cage. This is what's known as the birdcage effect. The birdcage effect describes how people, when they inadvertently acquire something they originally did not need, may feel compelled to make additional unnecessary purchases, either to avoid waste or for other reasons. The characteristic of the birdcage effect is the psychological impact it creates, which can influence our behavior. We can use this to develop good habits for ourselves. For example, to develop a reading habit, you might buy a book and place it where it's easily seen by many. Surely you'll often be asked, "Have you read that book yet?" Or, "What's that book like? Is it good?" Eventually, you'll find yourself sitting down to read that book. 40. Identifying the problem. The ingenious insight of STEINMETZ at Ford. Gidlam's law highlights a key principle in management science. A problem can only be effectively solved once it is identified. Here's a well-known story from the U.S. One day, STEINMETZ was asked by Ford to repair an electric motor. Since the motor was malfunctioning, the entire car production line was halted. Despite many engineers attempting to fix it, none succeeded. STEINMETZ carefully observed the motor and fumbled around for a while. Then he drew a line at a specific spot and said, "A coil is missing here." After replacing the coil, the motor worked again. The manager happily asked how much the repair would cost, and STEINMETZ replied, $10,000. Over 100 years ago, top engineers at Ford earned only $5 a month. Seeing the manager's puzzled face, STEINMETZ explained on a piece of paper, $1 for drawing the line, $9,999 for knowing where to draw it. Ford's chairman not only agreed to pay the fee, but also hired STEINMETZ at a high salary. In fact, all engineers knew that the motor required 20 coils, but only STEINMETZ knew one was missing. Often we think we could solve a problem just as easily as others when we see them do it. However, why aren't you the one celebrated? Albert Einstein answered this. Solving a problem is simply a matter of applying some algorithms or experience, but identifying the problem is more difficult and important. Truly intelligent people aren't the first to act, but are the fastest to identify problems. 41. Falkland's Law. Wait and seize the opportunity. The famous French economist Falkland once said, "When you don't know how to act, it's best to stand still and not make any decisions, because you won't know if what follows is an opportunity or a trap." In 1973, an economic crisis erupted, leading to stagnant consumer spending. Many Thai brands cut production and lowered prices. Many speculated that Gold Lion, a renowned men's fashion brand, would follow suit, but there was no movement. While everyone was anxious, the founder of the brand made no changes. During this time, he quietly observed. He noticed that to control costs, the variety and colors of products were reduced, and the number of stalls at counters also decreased. So, he took this opportunity to rent a stall at a low price and produced a more diverse range of designs. When the economy recovered, Gold Lion quickly gained a competitive edge in the market. Sociologist Andy J. Sklivis once said, "Just be patient and wait. The windmill never goes out looking for the wind." Life is like a windmill, and the wind is your asset. The wisdom of intelligent people often lies in their ability to wait and seize the right moment. 42. The power of a good first impression. The initial effect is also known as the first impression effect. If someone makes a good impression during their first interaction, people are more likely to engage with them, and the goodwill created by this first impression can positively influence future interactions. Although this effect is widely recognized and frequently discussed, it embodies a rich array of psychological principles. This is because we are all accustomed to categorizing and organizing the people and things we encounter. Simply put, we label them. When we receive information from the outside, a cognitive framework forms in our minds. Subsequent information is integrated into this framework, making it difficult to change. The initial effect plays a crucial role in human interactions. By accurately understanding and harnessing it, you can establish positive social relationships that benefit both your career and personal life. 43. The law of listening. Moore, a philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen more and speak less." There is a story about a small country that once sent 3 identical golden statues to the Emperor of China, all similar in appearance and weight, with a message stating that one of them was the most valuable. Which one could it be? Many court officials were stumped until an elderly sage stepped forward. He inserted a thread into the ears of each statue. For the first statue, the thread came out of the other ear. For the second, the thread came out of the mouth. And for the third, the thread fell to the ground. The sage declared the third statue to be the most valuable. These statues represent three types of people in the world. The first type hears things from one ear and out the other, showing they really don't know how to listen. The second type speaks whatever they hear without thinking, making their words often pointless. The third type knows how to listen and keep what they hear, understanding much but speaking little, showing discretion and wisdom. 44. Smart people. Use the 7 to 3 inches rule in social interactions. In dealing with others, it's important to keep some secrets hidden and not let everyone know everything. Whether it's pursuing goals, eating, or seeking happiness, moderation is key. By applying the 7 to 3 inches rule, acting 70% of the time and leaving a 30% margin for retreat, we can ensure long-term stability. Smart people know how to use this rule in the following 5 areas. 1. Interacting with others. Be 70% genuine, 30% cautious. Interaction is inevitable in life, especially at work. How to relate with friends or strangers is something we all need to think about. While some believe that being completely genuine in any relationship is enough, absolute sincerity can backfire if the other person proves untrustworthy. To maintain a relationship, it's wise to show your true self only partially, 70%, and keep the rest, 30%, back to protect yourself. Being even more cautious, reversing the ratio to 30% genuine and 70% guarded, isn't unreasonable. After all, you can't lay all your cards on the table without risking harm. 2. Speaking. Share 70%. Truth. Keep 30% to yourself. In social interactions, it's wise to keep crucial secrets to yourself. Some things, particularly about the past, should remain buried within us forever. Some might say if someone is a true friend or lover, why not share everything? But ask yourself, have you really shared your deepest, darkest secrets with them? People often talk too much and make mistakes, leading to problems. The more you say, the more likely you are to offend others and harm yourself. In these cases, remaining silent is the smartest way to behave. 3. Stepping out. Be 70% easygoing, 30% mysterious. A person who behaves mysteriously without drawing attention often avoids trouble, as others think they're not easy to provoke. Conversely, if someone is an open book, they might seem too gentle and become a target for manipulation. Mystery is a trait everyone possesses. The more skilled someone is, the better they are at using this principle because they prefer not to show off and wisely keep things hidden to protect themselves. 4. Maintaining health. 70% exercise, 30% rest. In the modern quest for a high-quality, long-life daily exercise is common. However, the belief that only intense exercise improves appearance and health is a misconception. Balance and moderation are key. Just like anything else, too much or too little of something isn't beneficial. Hard work and regular exercise, along with consistent stress relief, are essential. Without them, both your body and mind might reach their limits, leading to negativity and illness at once. 5. Dealing with life. 70% effort, 30% acceptance. Everything is a matter of time and fate. We can only start carefully and hope to end as best as we can. As long as you do your part, the rest should be met with acceptance of whatever happens. We ordinary people can decide our actions but can hardly determine the outcomes. If you give, you might not receive. If you work hard, you might not get the reward you deserve. Thus, adjusting your mindset to be accepting of whatever comes is often healthier than forcing desired outcomes. We can only control 70% of our actions. Let time answer the rest. Like earning money, no one can guarantee wealth. We can only promise to do our best and live without regrets. This is the essence of going with the flow.
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
45. Happy people. Avoid these 10 foolish things. No one can go back to the past and start over, but everyone can start from now and build a new future. However, before you can make this change in your life, you must let go of the things that are holding you back and are meaningless. 1. Don't waste time on the wrong people. Life is too short to spend your precious years with people who try to stifle your happiness. If someone truly needs you, they'll make space for you. Sometimes it's not necessary to struggle to hold on. Letting go is also an option. Never give hope to someone who consistently undervalues you. Remember, true friends will always be there when you need help the most. Those who only show up when you're wealthy or on top are probably not true friends. 2. Don't avoid problems, face and overcome them. Honestly, this is not easy at all. No one in the world can easily solve every tough situation. Everyone goes through disappointment, sadness, pain, and frustration time and again before solving a problem. Therefore, we should not rush to demand results but tackle problems step by step. Life is about facing difficulties, patiently learning, adapting, and solving them. All these experiences will ultimately shape who you are today. 3. Don't deceive yourself. You might fool the world, but the one person you must never deceive is yourself. Only by seizing opportunities can we improve our lives. And to do this, the first step is to be honest with yourself. 4. Don't neglect your own needs. It's painful to love someone so much that you forget you also need to be loved in return. Helping others is important, but you also need to help yourself. If you have never pursued your passions, now is the time to start. 5. Don't fantasize about being someone you're not. One of life's challenges is burying who you truly are and wishing to be someone else, a version that isn't you. There will always be people prettier, smarter, and younger than you, but they are not you. Don't try to be someone else, be yourself, and people will genuinely accept you. 6. Don't fear making mistakes. Be brave and try. Making mistakes is still better than doing nothing at all. Every success has to pass through the trial of failure, and every failure will lead you to your ultimate goal. Remember, what you'll regret are not the things you did, but the things you never tried. 7. Don't blame yourself for past mistakes. We can fall in love with the wrong person, we can cry over things that aren't worth it, but one thing is certain: mistakes help us find the right people and do better next time. In life, who doesn't make mistakes? We all have painful experiences and regrets about the past. However, you should not define yourself by the mistakes you've made or the painful experiences you've had. You live in this moment, and you have the ability to change today. You can still create a better future. Everything you go through in life points to a moment in the future. 8. Don't seek happiness from others. Many things we desire are costly, but the things that truly satisfy us are free. Love, laughter, and the pursuit of passions. If you're not happy with yourself, in the long run, you won't be happy no matter how much wealth and love you have. 9. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry about others doing better than you. All you need to do is improve a little each day and keep surpassing your own limits. Success is a battle between you and yourself, not with anyone else. Jealousy is measuring others' happiness instead of focusing on your own. 10. Don't underestimate the beauty of small details. Cherish the little things because one day when you look back on your life, you might realize they were incredibly important. The best parts of your life are made up of these small moments, like the smile you share with someone. 46. 3 secrets you should keep to avoid trouble in life. 1. Social relationships. In Chinese culture, there is a saying, "At home, rely on your parents. Outside, rely on your friends." Many people try to connect with everyone they meet, especially celebrities. Some boast about having a celebrity's phone number or a photo with them. CCTV editor Nu Thon Quang once claimed he was friends with famous politicians like U.S. President Bill Clinton and former Japanese Prime Minister Kan Naoto. His name became a joke among netizens, linking him with the annual gatherings at the World Economic Forum. In 2015, he faced prison time, and those so-called close friends did not support him. His story ended tragically. Dale Carnegie, a noted writer on interpersonal skills, said, "One of the most important life lessons is to leverage your strengths and earn respect from others. Do not think you can fool the world. Without offering your true abilities, it's hard to form genuine connections." 2. Personal intelligence. Uncle Hai got promoted but received no congratulations from colleagues. He constantly bragged about his skills and opportunities, which eventually led to isolation at work. One day, an experienced friend advised him to stop boasting about his promotion. This conversation changed Uncle Hai. He started listening more and praising others' achievements, eventually building better relationships at work. A wise saying goes, "If you want to find an enemy, show you are better than others. If you want a friend, let others be better than you." This is because when friends outshine us, they feel valued, but when we outshine them, it may breed jealousy and resentment. 3. Personal capability. At a writer's meetup, a well-dressed male author wanted to be the center of attention, boasting about his numerous published novels. He approached a modestly dressed middle-aged woman who turned out to be Margaret Mitchell, the author of the classic novel Gone with the Wind. After mocking her for writing only one book, he was embarrassed when he realized who she was. How do you recognize an intelligent person? An intelligent person not only understands but respects your views and beliefs. They make you feel comfortable yet maintain a respectful distance, showing wisdom and modesty. No matter how talented, everyone has strengths and weaknesses. A truly strong person respects others and seeks inner validation rather than outward applause. Reading widely enriches the mind and nurtures humility. True strength lies in talent without arrogance. Let's cultivate good qualities, starting with humility. 47. The Prodigy of the Three Kingdoms. In Chinese history, Liu Bei, Sun Quan, and Cao Cao were the three major forces shaping the Three Kingdoms period. As a powerful leader, Cao Cao knew that to compete for the empire, he needed to gather many talented people to support him. Cao Cao was famously skilled at recognizing and utilizing talents. Indeed, under his command were numerous top generals and strategists of the era, such as Xun Yu, Guo Jia, Jia Shu, Dian Wei, and Shu Chu. However, historical records mention a prodigy whom Cao Cao greatly admired. Initially, Cao Cao wanted to recruit this person and tried to entice him, but later, he surprisingly attempted to assassinate him. Who was this prodigy, and what prompted Cao Cao to act this way? This was Chu Batyi, a nephew of Liu Xian, who served under Liu Biao. According to historical texts, Chu Batyi, also known as Yuanji from Lingling, modern-day Hunan, grew up in a distinguished family and showed exceptional intelligence from a young age. Later, he was entrusted to the scholar Liu Ba, a genius who even the renowned Zhuge Liang felt inferior to. According to the Lingling Xianxian Zhuan, Liu Ba soon admitted that he was not talented enough to teach Chubat Ningyi. In 208, after Liu Biao died, Cao Cao, having taken over Jingzhou, recruited Liu Xian and Chubat Ningyi. Due to his rare talents, Chubat Ningyi quickly caught Cao Cao's attention. When Cao Cao faced difficulties in attacking Liu's city, Chubat Ningyi, at just 14, offered 10 strategies that immediately helped Cao Wei overcome these obstacles. Since then, Cao Cao thought of using marriage to strengthen ties with Chubat Ningyi, proposing his daughter to him, but the young genius boldly refused. Although unhappy, Cao Cao still wanted Chubat Ningyi to become a close friend of his son Cao Chong. Their relationship was very good. However, Chubat Ngyi's fate took a dangerous turn when Cao Chong unexpectedly died in 208. Cao Chong's death deeply saddened Cao Cao, who had secretly hoped he would continue his legacy. At this point, Chubat Ngyi became a thorn in the eye of Cao Cao. Cao Cao believed that a smart person like his son could have controlled Chubat Ngyi, but unfortunately, Cao Chong died young. Therefore, he planned to kill Chubat Ngyi. Cao Pi, upon learning of this, tried to stop his father. Cao Pi believed that Chubat Ngyi was very intelligent and skilled, and would definitely become a right-hand man for him, so he tried to intervene. However, Cao Cao said, "This person is not someone you can control." Chubat Ngyi was talented, but only a rare genius like Cao Chong could have subdued him. Cao Pi, though talented, was far less intelligent and skilled compared to Cao Chong. Thus, to secure Cao Pi's succession, Cao Cao saw no other way but to eliminate this uncontrollable prodigy. After realizing his father's intentions and the danger of facing a genius like Chubat Ngyi, Cao Pi did not plead further. In 209, Cao Cao had Chubat Ngyi assassinated, marking the tragic end of this prodigy from the Three Kingdoms era. 48. 3 valuable ways to live a carefree life in your later years. As people reach middle age, every day is an opportunity to spend money. Earning money becomes a daily task and a relentless mission. Many middle-aged individuals are so busy day in and day out that they deplete their health and time. Some say it's better to live a life worth living than to spend all your time chasing money. That's certainly true. For a middle-aged person, the most valuable life includes these 3 aspects. 1. Value health, keep your body, capable of creating value. German idealist philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, "The greatest mistake a person can make is to trade his health for external things." Some people say that having health doesn't mean you have everything, but losing it means losing everything. Indeed, life pressures mount in middle age. Many people wear down their bodies without realizing it. By the time they collapse, it's too late. One hospital day could wipe out months of hard work. There's a saying, maintaining health isn't hard or time-consuming. It's just a lifestyle change. When we're young, we think working hard to make money is building wealth. But as more people reach middle age, they realize that maintaining health is the real asset. In life, there are no ifs, only consequences and results. For more than half of your life, if you're still exhausting yourself for money, it's time to wake up and change your lifestyle. This is also a way to love yourself in middle age. 2. Maintain relationships. Help your family thrive. When people reach middle age, fatigue becomes common. From work to family responsibilities, many people gradually lose touch with their relationships and family without realizing it. Managing a family is like running a business. You need proper goals and a genuine attitude. Our ancestors weren't wrong. The biggest mistake we make every day is being too polite to strangers and too harsh with our loved ones. In the outside world, some people have successful careers but broken families. Managing a marriage is never easier than running a business. Understanding and tolerance for the small things and communicating more to resolve disputes are the key secrets to maintaining harmony at home. In life, not everything is about right and wrong. Ultimately, home is where we talk about love. If everything is calculated in detail and blamed on each other, it will only drive hearts apart. 3. Adjust your emotions. Keep an open heart. On JIRO, someone asked, "What is the ideal state after middle age?" A popular answer was, "The best state for people in middle age is to prioritize mindset and place emotions second." Kazuo Inamori, a Japanese business and life philosophy guru, said in his book, The Way of Life, "Everything in life is attracted by the magnet in your heart, including illnesses. Thus, you and longevity are only separated by a healthy mindset." The most important thing for people in middle age is to learn to love themselves well. Age is never a shackle, and middle age doesn't mean decline. Nurturing a healthy body, managing a happy and harmonious family, and maintaining a calm mind are the greatest riches in the latter half of your life. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 49. The Three Fish Theory. Yu Min Hong, a renowned educator in China, once shared a story in an article. As a young man, he lived by the Yangtze River and often watched fishermen cast their nets to catch fish. He noticed that although the nets were large, they could catch 3 types of relatively small fish. He was curious why the fish were trapped, even though they could easily slip through the nets. Upon asking around, he learned that these fish were known as the gudgeon, the Chinese anchorfish, and the pufferfish. The first type, the gudgeon, has a small head and a larger body. When it tries to pass through the fishing net, its scales get caught. In reality, if it just backed up a little, it could escape. But because it fears pain and doesn't want to lose its scales, it gets caught by the fishermen. The second type, the Chinese anchorfish, can move freely in small spaces and the net cannot really trap it. However, this fish is timid, and when scared, it hurriedly dodges, naturally getting its fins tangled in the net. The third type, the pufferfish, is a strong-willed and often grumpy creature. When it gets stuck in the net and can't swim, its belly swells up in anger, making it round and buoyant, floating on the water surface. Fishermen passing by can simply reach out and catch it. It was discovered that what truly kills these fish is not their physical size but their habits. As Yu Min Hong explained, humans are similar to these 3 fish, often destroyed by their own habitual thinking. Only by adjusting our way of thinking can we gain an advantage when reacting to troubles. Correct thinking in handling situations allows us to easily overcome difficulties. 1. The gudgeon mindset. In Italian literary history, there was a young poet named Felice Cavarotti. Cavarotti was talented. His poems were published in local periodicals and received much praise. As his poetic skills matured, he felt capable of submitting his manuscripts to Italy's leading publisher, La Venezia. He carefully selected a few favorite poems and sent them, but they were rejected by Marcola, the editor-in-chief of La Venezia. Marcola replied that some changes were needed before the poems could be published. Friends advised him to revise them, considering the significant career benefits of being published by La Venezia. However, Cavarotti, being somewhat proud, took this as an insult and refused to compromise. He immediately responded to Markkula with a defiant letter. As a result, Cavarotti, a promising young poet, lost a great opportunity over a trivial reason. Do you see how Cavarotti resembles the gudgeon? When faced with displeasure, neither yields even slightly and ultimately gets caught. Ancient wisdom says, "The world is harsh, knowing when to retreat is wise." When faced with insurmountable difficulties, taking a step back and waiting for a new opportunity is a smart resolution. In life, being flexible, advancing when necessary to not miss good opportunities, but also retreating at the right time to avoid extremes is wise. It's foolish to charge ahead when you foresee a hopeless situation. Sometimes yielding is not cowardice, but wisdom. When the path ahead is blocked, stepping back often leads you to a new turn. 2. The Chinese anchorfish thinking. A writer once said, "Living happily is not about forgetting your current troubles by running away, but facing them head-on and fighting through." Someone who retreats at the slightest danger resembles the Chinese anchorfish. Even when they have the advantage, they push themselves into more perilous situations. Psychologist Lee Songwei shared a real case. Wang, a PhD student, faced delays in his graduation due to issues with his thesis. Each time he sat in front of his computer, he felt dread thinking about his thesis. To escape the pain of reality, he started spending extensive hours playing computer games every day. Unexpectedly, 6 months later, he developed severe mental health issues. Upon learning about Wang's situation, Lee Songwei didn't prescribe medication but told him, "Do what you need to do." Encouraged by the doctor, Wang gritted his teeth, opened his manuscript, and began revising each word and section. More than 2 months later, he made a significant breakthrough in his thesis research. The psychological issues that had tormented him for months also disappeared. I once read a saying, "Deliberately avoiding what you fear eventually leads you to encounter it head-on." When facing difficulties, instead of avoiding them, it's better to swim against the current, embrace the troubles, and resolve them as they arise. When Kazuo Inamori graduated, he joined a failing company. The company was doing so poorly that he lived in a small dormitory with a cracked floor and fleas. Faced with a new research topic, his colleagues in the product development research department were lazy and uninterested. Inamori thought about quitting and wrote home about resigning and applying to join the Navy. Unexpectedly, his brother, instead of comforting him, sternly scolded him. "Facing a problem and not solving it, do you hope to achieve what you want somewhere else?" Inamori immediately awakened and entered the lab. He started researching from early morning to late evening, never complaining no matter how hard or tiring it was. Eventually, he quickly developed a new type of ceramic material and saved the company, also getting promoted to R&D director. In reality, each of us faces 1 or 2 people and 2 or 3 situations we cannot avoid. Writer Ayn Rand believed that you can avoid reality, but you cannot escape the consequences of avoiding it. So, when things get tough and there's nowhere left to hide, face them. When you're no longer afraid and unwilling to avoid, the problem is already half solved. 3. Pufferfish thinking. Liang Qiushi once said, "When angry, reasoning becomes unclear and words and actions may exceed limits, becoming inappropriate for others and oneself." You see, the pufferfish is like that. When something happens, they become angry to the point of surfacing without realizing. Then they bring disaster upon themselves. This reminds me of a story about writer Li Xiaoyi. As a young woman, she worked in advertising. Once, to plan for a client, Li Xiaoyi stayed up several nights in a row, trying to perfect the plan. After the client reviewed the plan, they glanced at it and said 2 words, "Redo it." Faced with the client's pickiness, she became angry. Your requirements are extremely unreasonable and you are extremely unreasonable. Don't think that because you're the client you can do whatever you want. I won't do it anymore. The next day, her boss called her to the office and scolded her. After the incident spread, Li Xiaoyi's initial clients requested replacements, and she directly fell into a career abyss. Author Huffland said, "Among all the negative influences in the world, uncontrolled anger often has the most devastating impact. When someone is in a rage, their IQ is effectively zero. They are controlled by their anger, and ultimately, they themselves suffer the consequences. Only by controlling your temper and handling situations calmly can you effectively resolve conflicts and complete tasks." When Charlie Munger was younger, he had to fly to another location to discuss a collaboration with a client. But as he passed through airport security, he was stopped because the detector beeped. Munger had to go through security again, but after trying 4 or 5 times, the detector still beeped. Seeing that he was about to miss his flight, his assistant became extremely angry, grabbed the luggage, and attempted to rush through. But Munger held on to his secretary and smiled at the staff. "All right, I'll try again." It took over 10 minutes before the staff realized the detector was malfunctioning. By then, Munger's plane had taken off, and it was too late to book the next flight. Although time was tight, he remained patient and spoke cheerfully with the staff. The staff felt very guilty and quickly helped Munger book the next available flight through an internal channel. Ultimately, he arrived at his destination and achieved successful cooperation with the client. Fools are hot-tempered. The wise control their anger. Foolish people speak rashly when faced with problems, while the wise manage their emotions before addressing the situation. Everything in the world is complex, and if you are overwhelmed by emotions, you will find yourself in chaos. Learning to control your temper when something happens, stabilizing your emotions, can help you manage the situation. Sociologist Festinger said, 10% of life is made up of what happens to you, and 90% is decided by how you respond to what happens. Often what holds you back is not a lack of ability, but incorrect thinking. The moment you remain calm in the face of difficulties, knowing when to be firm and when to be flexible, not avoiding problems, there will be no obstacles that can stop you. 50. Learn from the farmer who always weeds. Different crops require different soil conditions, and the same goes for people. Only when you find the right place can you fully realize your potential. Planting in spring and harvesting in autumn is not just a farming process, but a trajectory for success in life. A professor once said, "Farmers are among the smartest people, and farming is the best way to rejuvenate the mind." Farming, like life, requires attention to climate, finding the right soil, diligent care, and patience before reaping a bountiful harvest. To achieve something in life, you must position yourself, avoid distractions, invest continuously, endure a waiting period, and then you can wait for the flowers to bloom. To become a true winner in life, you must adopt the farmer's mindset. 1. Find your own land. Just as different crops need different soils, people do too. Only when you find the right fit can you maximize your potential. Famous chef Julia Child loved writing from a young age and dreamed of becoming a writer. After graduating, her first job was writing ads for a furniture store. However, she soon realized she disliked the job. During World War II, she enlisted and joined the U.S. Strategic Services, but her cheerful nature was not suited for the tedious and strict work. After the war, Julia moved to Paris with her husband. There, a delicious meal at a restaurant inspired her. She began to study cooking and found true joy in it. Back in the U.S., Julia popularized the cuisine she learned, influencing many. She became the first celebrity chef on a TV show and wrote a best-selling cookbook. A writer once said, "A person's value depends on their ability to find their place." Everyone has unique strengths that are best utilized in the right setting. Someone once asked a master woodcarver, "How do you carve so lifelike?" The carver replied, "I don't carve it to be anything. It just is, and I bring it out. I just follow nature." The same goes for people. If you force yourself into a job you dislike and aren't good at, even hard work won't yield good results. Only by finding a direction that leverages your strengths can you truly realize your life's value. 2. Never stop striving. We know that crops thrive not just on sunlight but also need regular watering, fertilizing, and pest control. If you plant seeds and neglect them, you likely won't harvest anything. A fulfilling life also requires continuous effort and careful management. A web user shared her experience. After graduating, she joined a good company. Initially, she was energetic and proactive at work and with colleagues, but gradually she lost her drive. She started procrastinating, arriving late, and distancing herself from colleagues. 2 years later, due to poor performance, the company had to downsize. Whether in business reviews or internal votes, she was at the top of the layoff list. Later, she found a new job, but this time, she no longer dared to be lazy and took every opportunity to learn online. A writer said, "A person's fate is determined by their past and present actions." Today's efforts decide tomorrow's outcomes. Don't covet idleness or laziness at any time. You'll never achieve a bountiful harvest without hard work, let alone a lifetime of ease. Idleness and a day-to-day survival approach will only lead to barren results. Only by working hard can we avoid wasting our efforts without achieving anything. 3. Regularly remove weeds. Weeding is crucial in cultivation. If not removed, weeds steal nutrients from crops and block sunlight. Similarly, human energy is like soil nutrients. Taking on too much at once can cause you to lose focus and perform poorly. Only by focusing on what's most important can we achieve a bountiful harvest. Productivity expert Bosch Tracy said, "People who do well at one thing at a time do much better than those who are good at many things at once." Specialization, not quantity, but mastery. French painter Redoute started painting at age 13. Initially, he didn't know his best genre, dabbling in portraits, religious paintings, and even stage design. His scattered energy prevented any significant achievements until he met botanist Blue Taylor, who guided him in botanical illustration. As a result, he achieved great success, even becoming a full-time court painter for the French royal family. He worked in the Royal Rose Garden for 20 years, creating the Rose Chart featuring 169 rose species, a book that became popular worldwide. Writer Mac Ngong once said, "A person, by focusing on one thing, can always achieve something great. Often, we work hard and busy ourselves but see no results because of a lack of focus. Truly, dedicating a lifetime to one pursuit is fortunate. Once you've set your goals, let go of distracting thoughts, keep moving forward, and progress without deliberate entanglements. 4. Wait for your growth phase. You reap what you sow, plant in spring and harvest in autumn. This is both a rule of farming and a life philosophy. If you invest, you will harvest. Don't rush for quick success. Slow down and be patient, and you will enjoy the rewards when the crops are plentiful. Someone said, "Life is a marathon. Every step you take has value. Even sunlight takes 8 minutes to reach Earth, so take your time. Be patient." Each flower has its own blooming period and its growth phase. There's no need to be discouraged or worried just because others start higher or progress faster. Winter plum blossoms are as beautiful as any other flower. Everyone has their own flourishing time. A poet said, Your job is to level the ground, not worry about time. What you do in March and April will answer you in August and September. Just follow your own pace, take steady steps, and you will reap the results. Life is like plowing. One step still, half a step successful. Life, like farming, depends on the effort and sweat you put in. Even the richest fields, if neglected, will become barren. Even the barren fields, if carefully tended, will surely bloom and bear fruit. Planting in spring and harvesting in autumn is not just a farming process, but a trajectory for success in life. If you're still envious of others' achievements, focus on your chosen field, cultivate it regularly and deeply, and patiently wait for the harvest season.
If you like this video, please comment 1, and if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
51. Quiet happiness, modest success. Be joyful but not over the top. Be successful but not arrogant. Be happy but don't show off. This is the way of the wise. Chinese author Yang believed, don't brag about your happiness, don't flaunt your wealth, don't display your successes. The principle is, showing off means losing. Keeping it hidden is the best way to preserve it. People often say, few hope you live well, but many are envious of your good life. It's not wrong to share your happiness, but there should be moderation and limits, as going overboard can lead to troubles. Sometimes being happy by yourself is enough. There's no need to tell others about your joy. Study quietly. Keep to yourself. Don't boast needlessly. And don't worry about competition. Life has its ups and downs, but as long as you know and move forward, that's enough. How to be joyful and happy is up to you to find and choose. Others are merely passing by, so don't worry too much. If you share your joy with the wrong person, it can become a problem, wasting time and attracting gossip. If you share your sorrows with the wrong person, sometimes it becomes a joke to them. Happiness is feeling joyful on your own. Forcing it is meaningless. Keep a fresh perspective towards the world. Being true to yourself is the way to truly enjoy happiness. Record every cheerful moment with the simplest heart, which is completely different from bragging to others. Happiness will nourish your heart, not the eyes of others. Indeed, successful people rarely show off. If they do, it's usually after much strategic planning, like letting a small fish go to catch a big one. Only after enough experience do you realize that modesty is the biggest form of bragging. You must believe that if you are truly outstanding, there's no need to show off or prove it with words. Others will naturally admire you. Bragging only brings temporary joy and often leads to envy, disputes, and sometimes even hurting others. A common situation is as follows. After a year of hard work, you go home for the new year and boast to relatives and neighbors about your vast wealth and talents. This may make you proud and honor your family, but inadvertently, it might hurt others. It could be a local youth of the same age who also works away from home but isn't as successful. Hearing you could make them feel inferior. Or it could be neighbors who are unhappy that you're more successful than their children, leading to jealousy, grudges, and slander about your family. Everyone has their way of living, and no one can judge another. But if you lower your ego a bit and consider those around you, life becomes so much easier. The wise know to retreat and enjoy life in quieter ways, doing what they like. Those who seek vanity boast everywhere, but they don't realize that this habit might keep them from happiness and wealth. Our elders often taught, the ripe grain bows its head, the wise know to be patient. Be joyful, but not over the top. Be successful, but not arrogant. Be happy, but don't show off. This is the way of the wise. 52. The more you chase after money, the more it seems to slip away. In today's fast-paced world, money is like an invisible dance, drawing countless people into its endless cycle. However, Japanese billionaire Kazuo Inamori has shared the secret behind money through the lens of a lifetime in business. This is not just a unique view of money, but also a deep look at life philosophy. In this bustling world, we often lose our way chasing money and overlook the real values behind it. Money is indeed a means, a necessary tool that can help us solve problems. The flow of money is actually a response to what we have sacrificed, given to others and society. Money comes when we truly know how to help others and solve their problems. As the famous 20th century Chinese writer Bing Xin once said, "Love on the left, empathy on the right, we walk on both sides of life, sowing seeds as fate would have it, and as flowers bloom, they decorate our path with their fragrant blossoms, making it less painful even if we step on thorns. Tears may fall, but not with sorrow." This passage isn't just about love, but also explains the value of life. When we truly give and bring warmth to others, our life's path naturally fills with flowers, and the scent of these flowers represents the fragrance of money. In development, understand that if you want to get rich, first find a good job. Because behind money is work, and behind work are people. Only when you are a good person can your work be good, leading to success. The word person here not only refers to oneself, but also encompasses everything in our lives around us. Bing Xin wrote in Talking About Life, "Not every river can flow into the sea. Without flow, it becomes a dead lake. Not every seed can become a tree. Without sprouting, it is a dead seed." In this world, miracles are few, but peace is abundant, yet we often fail to appreciate it. Therefore, cherish every opportunity to interact with others and learn to face the world with a loving heart. Only then will the path of life become increasingly open. We can look at Mr. Inamori's business life as a role model. Throughout his business journey, he always adhered to a management philosophy that valued human elements, correct actions, and corporate character with ethical standards and professionalism. His thoughts pioneered the modernization process in Japan, based on the idea that the motivations of workers and companies should be pure intentions, not greed, ultimately aiming to serve society. Thanks to his talent and kindness, he has guided countless businesses and employees to success over the decades, leading the Japanese market and earning the title of Business King. No one does not love money, but a true gentleman has his do's and don'ts when earning money. Money is not conjured from thin air. It requires effort and a bit of luck. Therefore, money can be called a kind of blessing, something that we must earn through kindness and giving value. If money really is a captivating dance, then dance in it with a calm mind and enjoy it to the fullest. With help and warm human connections, you will find that life is still full of miracles and love. On such a journey, we not only reap material rewards, but also fully experience the true meaning and beauty of life. 53. 4 little-known truths. If you've never been told these 4 social insights, you might find yourself at a disadvantage when navigating the outside world. 1. The adult world is built on interests. Don't be fooled by the harmonious scenes at dinner parties. It's all just a performance. Behind it are intellectual games that you wouldn't expect. People often lose touch with old friends or acquaintances simply because they no longer share the same social circle or mutual benefits. Life is like a game of survival. Either you become strong or you get eliminated when you're no longer useful. This principle also applies to relationships between spouses, making distancing in relationships inevitable. 2. Greatness comes with enduring loneliness. Why is this said? As you mature, you realize that everyone feels lonely. The only person you can truly rely on is yourself. If you don't strengthen yourself, pleasing hundreds of others will be futile. Highly talented individuals who can solve any problem and are polite, but do not have many friends or belong to many groups are not flawed. They are just very clear about what they want and do not resonate with the majority, making deep connections rare. Being alone doesn't mean resenting the world. It means being independent, intelligent, and selective. 3. Knowledge and experience matter more than academic achievement. If your child decides to drop out of school, don't just let them stay home. Give them some money to go out into the world to gain experience and face failures. Why let them struggle? Because the scariest thing is not lacking a formal education, but inaction. A life spent indoors, supported by parents and isolated from the world, is unlikely to lead to success. One reason people fail is that they are too sheltered by their parents. 4. You are you, irrespective of others. Many people are tired because they fear being themselves and standing firm in society. Avoid those who hurt you. What they say has nothing to do with you, so why should you care? Many are easily influenced by others through words, looks, and actions. Remember, in all social strata, the truly upper class value others highly, the middle class often praise others, and the lower classes tend to undercut each other. In today's competitive society, even if you are a phoenix reborn, you will still face negative looks and words, but a phoenix remains a phoenix. The king's way is to know how to use people. The minister's way is to know how to manage tasks. Understanding human nature is the highest form of learning, a subject that wise people continually study and prepare for themselves. Truly intelligent people quietly reflect on their own nature to better understand themselves and thus perceive the world more clearly. Ordinary people lack this understanding and are easily exploited and controlled by society. Smart people surround themselves with the fragrance of books and see their work as a passion. Ordinary people are consumed by daily worries. This is the truest portrait, depicting the difference between someone who understands human nature and societal mechanics and someone who does not. By truly understanding human nature, we can better grasp the behavioral patterns and logic of others, allowing us to integrate more wisely into today's society. Whether it's relationships with clients, loved ones, or relatives, you can manage them well. I believe that if someone truly understands the essence of human nature, they can solve almost any problem in the world. Whether it's EQ or IQ, both rely on an understanding of human nature. Imagine human nature as a road, with other qualities like EQ and IQ as trees along that road. Above are 4 real faces of society, and I hope this information has provided you with useful insights and a broader perspective on the world to achieve your own success. 54. 4 unusual rules the wealthy follow. I wasn't always good with money. Growing up in a dedicated yet frugal Chinese immigrant family, using coupons and reusing Ziploc bags was the norm. It wasn't until I started my career on Wall Street that I realized the ultra-wealthy care less about penny pinching and focus more on investing and growing their wealth. By observing and learning from their habits, I earned my first $1 million at age 27. Here are 4 uncommon rules that the wealthy follow, which most others don't. 1. Stop worrying about impressing others. The wealthy spend their money on assets, things that make money over time, rather than liabilities, things that cost money over time. For example, instead of buying a flashy Lamborghini that loses 1/3 of its value the moment you drive it, a truly wealthy person might buy a duplex to rent out. They don't care what you think about them or whether you're impressed. They're happy you're paying rent to them. 2. Have a prosperity mindset. Many people have a scarcity mindset, feeling that we'll never have enough money, that we must save every last penny. The problem with this thinking is that it can make people very competitive with those in similar financial situations. So, you spend all your time and energy fighting for resources with others at the bottom of the pyramid instead of trying to surpass those at the top. Wealthy people have a prosperity mindset. They know they can afford their bills, so they don't worry. This gives them the freedom to choose what they want to do with their time rather than just focusing on survival. 3. Think long-term. Wealthy individuals understand that some things take time, and they are willing to wait. They are the kings and queens of delayed gratification. For instance, a wealthy person doesn't mind locking money into a retirement account. The money they put into their IRA this year is untouchable until they are 59 and a half. But they know the money isn't gone. It's just untouchable for now, and the longer they wait, the more they will have later. 4. Share, network, and back each other up. Wealthy people like to be seen as the smartest in their friend group, the one with the best taste, the trendsetter. You might hear them say things like, "I have this great tax person. You should work with them. I found this bar that serves the best cocktails. You must try their martini. I joined the best country club, and I'll sponsor you to join too." They realize that when they are open about their knowledge, others are more likely to share what they know too. This is a form of currency, and why wealthy people like to boost their close friends. Their thought process is, "I'm not qualified for this job, but my friend is, and once she's in that position, she'll be the most trustworthy person. Then, once she's in leadership, I'm automatically part of the whole network." Yes, they want to see their friends succeed, but it's also because they are thinking strategically and long-term, having the most trustworthy people to collaborate with. The author of the article is Vivian Tu, a former Wall Street trader, educator, podcast host, and founder of the financial equity movement, Your Rich BFF. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 55. Be less dreamy, more practical. As we enter middle age, we often find ourselves caring for aging parents and supporting our children's education, while also facing increasing pressures from work and life. However, no matter how intense the pressures are, we can't afford to constantly seek shortcuts or indulge in wishful thinking instead of taking practical actions. A story shared online tells of a man and his early choices. While most of his peers in the village went abroad to work, he decided to start his own business, believing he could not provide a better life for his family with the meager earnings from working for others. He had big plans to make lots of money, but was not ready to put in the serious effort required. 2 years later, his peers returned to build houses, but he was still living in a small, basic home, sometimes even borrowing money from his parents to pay for his child's medical bills. Despite this, he never re-evaluated his life choices and took his parents' help for granted. He would often invite friends to dine at upscale restaurants, completely disregarding his own financial situation. At one point, farm tourism became very popular and his wife suggested investing in it. However, he rejected the idea, finding the work too dirty and tiring. He continued dining out, thinking he could make a fortune just by networking. Years went by with him lost in his fantasies, achieving nothing while others, even those simply farming, managed to buy homes in town. Being poor is nothing to fear, and moving slowly is not a problem, but setting unrealistic goals and getting lost in fantasies is not helpful. After middle age, time becomes incredibly valuable. Only by maintaining a realistic mindset, Setting clear goals and continuously working hard while improving one's attitude and knowledge can one truly achieve their dreams. 56. Stop lecturing others and instead be humble and tolerant of diverse opinions. A writer once said, "As people reach middle age, they often become unintentional teachers. Despite trying to hold back, they tend to steer conversations towards their past experiences that others may not have shared, just to showcase their own expertise." After middle age, we accumulate certain experiences and come to understand some truths, making us eager to guide others with our wisdom. However, what we often forget is that our experiences may not be relevant to everyone. Respecting differences is a smarter way to communicate. When Tang Guoqian, a renowned Confucian scholar, first arrived in the capital to serve as an official, he frequently wrote advisory letters to his younger siblings at home due to his concern for them. After discovering his siblings were eager for success, Tang Guoqian responded, "Success or failure is in the hands of fate. There is nobody destined to succeed without determination. For now, focus on improving yourself rather than worrying about the future." When his younger brother failed an exam and complained, Tang Guoqian, based on his experience, admonished him, "Failing an exam is a minor setback. If you can't handle this, how will you handle bigger challenges? Where there's a will, there's a way." Tang Guoqian always instructed his siblings from his point of view, never considering their actual needs. His wife also advised him not to always think he was right and to pay more attention to how he guided his brothers. Despite the advice, Tang Guoqian didn't change, and eventually, on the full moon day of the lunar month, his siblings wrote back, "You excel at instructing others, but your method doesn't truly help us." After receiving the letter, Tang Guoqian deeply regretted his actions and began to reflect on himself. From then on, he decided to stop imposing his teachings on others and became more open to other people's opinions. There's a saying, "Don't interfere too much in other people's lives, even if it's for their good, because it is their life." On the road of life, everyone has their own path and needs. No matter how well-intentioned you are, no one likes to be lectured. After middle age, we must understand that truly caring for others doesn't mean becoming a teacher or imposing our views on them, as our limited experiences cannot fully support another's life. If capable, offer practical help, restrain the urge to teach, and learn to be humble. At any age, maintain a progressive attitude so that others will respect you unconditionally. 57. Helping others is important, but it needs to be done with balance. Being kind without principles can be seen as weakness. Not everyone in this world is grateful, so while it's good to be kind, you also need to be sharp. A person named Hoa shared her story. She was a middle manager at a company with a high salary and a bright future. She managed the company's supply chain and sales, and errors in her department could cause significant losses. One time, an employee in her department miscalculated the cost of an item by a large amount, leading to a significant loss for the company. When the department head investigated, the employee explained her difficult family situation to Hoa. "My in-laws need medication year-round, my child needs schooling, and my husband only earns a basic salary as his company isn't doing well." Feeling sorry for her, Hoa told the director that she was responsible for the mistake, took full responsibility, and was ready to have her bonus cut. As a result, Hoa's protection meant that the employee wasn't punished. Later, the employee asked Hoa for a raise, citing financial difficulties and a heavy workload. Hoa, feeling compassionate again, recommended her for a raise. It seemed like the issue was resolved, but months later, upper management found out and demanded a strict investigation. Hoa realized the seriousness of the situation and asked the employee to explain herself clearly. Surprisingly, instead of feeling guilty, the employee blamed Hoa, denying any fault on her own part. There's a saying that goes, "Kindness is only kindness if both people feel the same way." The book The Godfather says, "Being naive without boundaries will only allow others to take advantage of you. Kindness without principles will also let others push you around." As we reach middle age, we should understand that kindness needs moderation. If you're blindly kind and soft, you're just encouraging others' greed and ultimately harming yourself. When dealing with others' requests, firmly refuse those who should be refused and help those you can within your own abilities. This is your responsibility to yourself. Kazuo Inamori said, "Life isn't a feast of material things, but a nourishment of the soul, making the end more noble than the beginning." Life is a process of self-improvement. In the latter half of life, it's most important to stay clear-headed and stable, avoiding the following. Don't be too idealistic. Instead, be practical, serious, and hardworking. Stop preaching to others. Learn to be humble and polite. Don't be weak. Only help others within your means. Life is short. Learn to be wise, do what you should, and be cautious with what you shouldn't do. Let's all aim for a better life. 58. Step back in these three situations. Even with a lot of wisdom and challenges faced, our lives don't always improve much. Sometimes, taking a step back can reveal where we've gone wrong, always moving forward without considering a retreat. Smart people are often a step ahead, not because they move faster, but because they recognize when to step back. Life is long, and the best opportunities aren't always ahead. Sometimes they are behind us. Knowing when to step back can make you a winner. 1. Constantly pushing forward can corner you. I come from a poor family and have always aspired to live well. Despite years of hard work, I noticed many around me achieving wealth, which made me push myself even harder. However, this didn't lead to success at work or in investments, and I realized that my capabilities didn't match my ambitions, leaving me exhausted. The higher your expectations for yourself and loved ones, the greater the disappointment when you can't meet them. 2. Step back for a broader perspective. The Tao Te Ching says, "The brave die for their bravery, while the timid survive by avoiding risks." Those who are too rigid often break, while the wise remain humble and adapt to different environments and people, finding peace in their lives. Sometimes, stepping back is the wisest move. 3. Don't linger at the peak. Like the old saying goes, a mountain cannot have two tigers. Everyone wants to stay at the peak, but staying too long can lead to being pushed down eventually. The cycle of fortune turns, and it's often best to step aside after a good run, showing generosity and wisdom. In summary, knowing when to step back can be as crucial as knowing when to move forward. 59. 4 things to let go of as you age for a happier, simpler life. As you grow older, it's wise to let go of these 4 burdens to live more peacefully. Just enjoy each day and don't worry about how long you might live. Expecting too much can lead to greater disappointment. The higher you climb, the harder you fall. This is a common understanding, but many still fall into this trap. Looking back at our youthful hopes, we might realize that some were just fantasies. The best move is to let them go for a serene life. If you want a peaceful old age, avoid clinging to these 4 notions. Otherwise, your final years may be filled with regret and pain. 1. Don't believe that having many children brings more blessings. Children are a joy and a source of pride. When they are young, we might have high hopes for them, but as we and they grow older, our only wish is for their happiness. Remember, everyone has their own life, and it's unrealistic to expect your children to stay by your side forever. Also, a bigger family often leads to more conflicts. 2. Don't obsess over a big house for a comfortable retirement. A home should be a place of comfort. While it's common to strive for a house and car in youth, some focus too heavily on having a grand house for retirement. This can lead to disregarding health and, ultimately, realizing too late that you can't take anything with you when you pass. 3. Don't chase a long, perfect life. As health declines with age, so does happiness, especially for the elderly who are ill. Living another day can often feel more like a burden than a blessing. 4. Don't easily choose to retire to the countryside. The idea of returning to one's roots is appealing, particularly for those from rural areas where childhood memories are cherished. However, those who have been away for years might find returning to the countryside inconvenient and challenging due to poor transportation, reduced living conditions, and the need for home repairs. In conclusion, while it's tempting to consider these options for a comfortable old age, it's crucial to think carefully and prepare thoroughly. Life in the countryside might be very different from what you imagine.
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
60. Smart people. Follow 8 don'ts in communication. People with high emotional intelligence, EQ, not only recognize their own emotions, but also those of others. They use this skill to connect and engage people together. Harvey Deutschendorf, author of Emotional Intelligence Game Changers, 101 Ways to Win at Life and Work, has spent 20 years studying the habits of emotionally intelligent people. If you want to build and develop meaningful relationships and avoid toxic ones, you need to communicate effectively and understand body language. Here are 8 things that high EQ individuals never do in communication. 1. Don't just focus on yourself. Everyone appreciates being recognized for their abilities and accomplishments. So, when someone achieves something, no matter how small, always acknowledge it positively. 2. Don't impose your opinions on others. Arguing or pressuring someone can make them defensive, which is counterproductive to a positive conversation. Instead, let them feel in control by expressing themselves while you actively listen. 3. Don't say, "It's not my responsibility." High EQ people never refuse to help others if it's within their capacity. They are always ready to share their time and knowledge. They view their role as a part of something bigger and often look for ways to contribute to their company or organization. 4. Don't waste time with just anyone. Those with high EQ prefer to associate with positive, goal-oriented people. They support each other and celebrate each other's successes. Limit interactions with negative people, as they can drain your energy. 5. Don't let yourself get distracted. Have you ever spoken to someone who was looking around or checking their watch? In such situations, it can feel like you don't matter to them. High EQ individuals always show they are listening attentively by maintaining eye contact and smiling. 6. Don't forget the little details. People with high EQ always repeat and refer to names during a conversation when meeting someone for the first time. This leaves a strong impression. As relationships deepen, consider noting important dates like birthdays or anniversaries and celebrating them. 7. Don't engage in tasteless jokes. If what you're about to say could upset someone during a conversation, it's best not to say it. Most people with high emotional intelligence avoid such jokes as they can spoil the mood and make communication uncomfortable. 8. Don't spill everything. Emotionally intelligent people strive to listen and understand the situation of others better. They ask questions that allow others to open up, leading to deeper understanding and empathy. This makes conversations more meaningful. 61. Master one trade before dreaming of riches. Doing many tasks at once may seem efficient, but it actually isn't. Spreading your energy too thin across multiple tasks leads to shallow work and shows your weaknesses to others, eventually resulting in negative consequences. Wise people often make sense in some ways. Charlie Munger is one such wise person. Since 1987, he has been speaking at shareholders' meetings, directly answering their queries. His responses are sharp, wise, and thought-provoking. Focus, self-discipline, and finding like-minded people. At the 2015 Daily Journal shareholders meeting, shareholders asked Munger about focus, success secrets, and habits, reading habits, and organizing notes. Charlie Munger: I was born with the ability to focus. When I need to concentrate on studying or doing something, I can block out everything from the outside world, not even noticing others around me. I can tell you that all the intelligent people I've met read a lot. Although people today are used to reading on computers and phones, and the internet offers useful information, I still believe that reading physical books is better than screens. Books help you learn more. Some people multitask and end up achieving nothing. Multitasking may seem efficient, but it's not. Spreading your energy too thin leads to shallow work and shows your weaknesses, resulting in negative consequences. Multitasking is a bad habit that many fall into without realizing it. High focus and total commitment to one task are crucial. Without this ability, I would never have succeeded. My success isn't based on my IQ, but on my focus. If I have achieved anything, it is because I persist with my questions. I excel in thinking deeply and thoroughly, finding suitable answers, and then acting. Many believe that running can help them succeed in life. If you think running can make you successful, then keep running. At the 2019 shareholders meeting, a 20-year-old shareholder asked, "Sir, how can a young person like me achieve success like you?" Charlie Munger: It's hard to change the next generation, and mediocrity is a common outcome. Some may succeed, but they are a minority. How to succeed? Self-discipline, ethical adherence, seeking like-minded individuals, and seizing rare opportunities are all very simple principles. Shareholder question: You and Mr. Buffett are role models for our generation. If I want to follow your path, what should I do? Charlie Munger: Many ambitious young people have asked us similar questions. I always tell people that I gradually became wealthy. I took it step by step, starting slowly. I worked tirelessly, saved patiently, and quietly endured tough times. If you want to know how to get rich quickly, you're asking the wrong person. You young people have a long road ahead, so why not succeed more slowly? It's a good way to pass the time. You can't play landlord every day, can you? Every day we ask ourselves how to become wiser. Every day we train ourselves to handle greater responsibilities. Every day we strive to do everything better. Over days and years, you will excel. Progress isn't always visible to the eye. It comes from perseverance and daily diligence. Young people, remember that even when you achieve something small, keep a clear head. Right now, you may be chasing beautiful women and fancy cars, but as you age, you might realize that's not what you wanted. In fact, gradual progress and hard work over a long period are my path to success. You will get what you deserve. To succeed, you must deserve it. Should I become an expert in one field or proficient in many? At the 2017 shareholders meeting, an 18-year-old shareholder expressed interest in knowledge across various fields and asked, "In an era that values specialization, is there a way out for pursuing broad knowledge?" Charlie Munger: That's a good question. I enjoy researching knowledge in various fields, but for most people, this path isn't suitable. I have deep knowledge in many areas because I'm interested in them and good at interdisciplinary thinking. However, for many people, the right approach is to pursue a specialization and skills that feel right. While having specialized knowledge is important, broad understanding is also essential. On the basis of specialized knowledge, it makes sense to spend 10% or 20% of your time learning the basics of other subjects. I often joke with people that if you're only specialized and lack broad knowledge, you're like a one-legged person kicking, and you're sure to lose when it comes to kicking someone else's butt. On one hand, you must master the basic knowledge of each field to avoid being narrow in your specialization. On the other hand, you must focus on your main job. Another question came from a young person new to society about career choice. I've just entered society and am looking for a suitable career path. Currently, I feel a bit confused. I mainly consider a career from two aspects. One is the job I can do best, and the other is the job where I can contribute most to society. Do you think I'm thinking correctly? How should I choose my career? Charlie Munger. How can one know which job suits them? Let me share with you from my experience. In life, I can hardly do anything I'm not interested in. How can one succeed if they spend their days doing things they're not interested in? People need to do what they care about. We can't suppress our nature, no matter how much we force ourselves. We can't do things we dislike. Second, we must maximize our advantages and do what we're good at. If you're only 1.5 meters tall, how can you stand on a crowded basketball court? Therefore, when choosing a career, you should combine your interests, advantages, and consider them comprehensively. You mentioned contributing to society, which relates to ethics. We all need to have ethics. However, don't think your thoughts are profound and the outside world is mundane, always assuming the whole world is against you and that you don't fit in. My idol is the Jewish philosopher Maimonides. Maimonides was a doctor who helped the world, working hard for 10 to 12 hours a day, completing a large number of philosophical works in his spare time. Maimonides believed that people should live the fullest life possible. I advise young people to do more practical things. Young people shouldn't have grand ideas, such as constantly thinking about which path to take. Young people should do practical things and learn from Maimonides. How to live happily. In 2021, shareholders asked Munger for advice on the topic of a happy life. You are a wise man. How can one live a happy life? What principles should one follow for a happy life? Charlie Munger. It's not hard to have a happy life. If you want to be happy, first lower your expectations. This is something you can control yourself. Always having unrealistic expectations leads to a miserable life. I'm very good at lowering my expectations, and I'm doing well because of it. Additionally, when facing adversity, you must be good at enduring and working hard. Blaming others and constantly complaining will only make things more painful and difficult. Shareholder question. Some people think marriage is not a worthwhile investment. What do you think about the value of marriage? Charlie Munger. Everyone has their own way of living. For most people, marriage is the best option. Statistics show that married people generally live longer. When happiness is measured by external signs like smiles, married people are happier. Life is tough enough, and most people are better off married. We should value the institution of marriage. I admire the view on family in Asian cultures. Confucianism places great importance on family, and I think this is very reasonable. If we lose the concept of family, our civilization will lose its foundation. Shareholder question. What's the most fulfilling thing you've done in your life? Charlie Munger. I value family more than wealth and status, but I also hate poverty. I've worked hard to escape poverty. I'm satisfied with my life now. Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google are so great that I don't dare compare myself to them. Many young people nowadays are eager to get rich. Rushing to make money might backfire. I think it's better to get rich slowly. Becoming wealthy is an interesting process. Become wealthy gradually, and only then can you truly appreciate the wonderful flavor of the process. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 62. 10 Daily Habits of Wealthy People, Transforming Ordinary to Extraordinary. 1. Manage your emotions. When conflicts arise at work, first manage your own emotions. Be wise and control your mood in any situation to solve problems more easily. After managing your emotions, proceed with communicating and resolving conflicts with colleagues or clients. Remember, never let personal feelings affect your work and try to let go of negative emotions which can make life and work harder. 2. Speak up and ask questions. If you encounter any issues at work, ask for advice from colleagues and leaders immediately. Remember to be smart. Don't hesitate to ask questions and express your thoughts. If your plans are not approved, don't be upset. Instead, seek reasons to learn and improve future plans. 3. Plan your work thoroughly. List specific tasks and plan detailed steps for your work. After finishing a project, review and note both strengths and weaknesses of your plan. You might not always finish tasks on schedule, but you can still learn valuable lessons for future plans. 4. Know your purpose. Wealthy and ordinary people differ because the wealthy always know what they want and what they need to do to achieve it. They focus on personal and professional growth rather than jumping from one task to another without clear goals. Moreover, wealthy people are clever in setting goals and measuring their success, which helps them adjust and improve for the best outcomes. 5. Be responsible. Mistakes happen at work, but don't avoid them. Take responsibility. This is a valuable lesson for personal and professional development. A strong sense of responsibility, along with clear discipline, also helps you advance quickly in your career. 6. Keep learning and be responsible. Never stop learning, as it is crucial for quick growth and a brighter future. Observing and learning accumulate experiences and skills necessary for your job and logical thinking. Also, be responsible for your current job. Don't rely on others. Be proactive and disciplined to grow. 7. Learn to say no. Learning to refuse unreasonable requests from colleagues is essential to survive and thrive at work. Don't be shy about this. Failing to refuse when necessary can lead to unnecessary complications and waste time. Knowing when and how to refuse also helps colleagues recognize their shortcomings, which can lead to mutual growth. 8. Master communication skills. In your job, you will meet many people with different personalities. Stay sharp and learn communication techniques to avoid being dominated in conversations. Being observant and catching small details from others can give you an upper hand and control over the conversation, creating more opportunities to develop and showcase yourself. 9. Never be idle. Beyond work hours, also spend time on personal life and nurturing your soul. Expanding your social circle and meeting new people are excellent ways to hone your communication skills. Additionally, read books and exercise regularly to keep your body strong and support your work performance. 10. Respect colleagues. Always show respect to your colleagues at work regardless of their position. Respect is a crucial element in creating a healthy work environment. Never be condescending to those in lower positions, as it shows low emotional intelligence and can hinder your success. 63. Men who embody these four qualities become richer as they live. 1. Gratitude and reciprocity. A famous Brazilian film director, Walter Salles, once shared a memorable experience from a film shoot in the western suburbs of a city. There, he met a young shoeshine boy. Initially, the boy offered to shine Walter's shoes, but he declined. The boy then pleaded, "Sir, if you won't get your shoes shined, could you lend me some money? I haven't eaten all day. I promise to work harder and return the money to you in a week." Touched, Walter gave him some coins. The boy thanked him profusely and hurried away. To Walter's surprise, the boy truly returned to him at the train station with the money, sweaty and out of breath. Walter, moved by the boy's integrity, gave him a chance to audition for a role in his next film. This boy was Vinícius de Oliveira, who later became a famous Brazilian actor, notably starring in Central Station, which won several international awards. 2. Confidence without arrogance. Success doesn't come without pain. The path to success is filled with hardships that test one's confidence. Confident men are intelligent, determined, and never shy away from challenges. Even after failures, they quickly regain their composure to continue their journey. Life is full of uncertainties, and having confidence can bring good fortune. 3. Embracing hardship. It is said, "Those who do not fear hardship will only suffer briefly, but those who fear it will suffer all their life." Great inventors and leaders like Edison, Lincoln, and modern entrepreneurs like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos have all faced numerous failures before achieving monumental success. From their stories, we learn that perseverance leads to success. A resilient man never gives up in the face of adversity. 4. Humility is strength. The Russian literary critic Belinsky once said, "All things that are truly great are simple and humble." Indeed, the more mature a person is, the more humility they should have. A person who is self-restrained and humble yet continually improves themselves is bound to succeed. Around us there may be many successful men, both in their families and careers, who embody these virtues and are worthy of admiration. In reality, all of us can become the ideal version of ourselves that we aspire to be. If there's something about us that needs to change, we should change it. 64. 3 honest statements. High EQ people never say to their boss, 1. "It's not my fault. It doesn't involve me." In a team setting, everyone has their own responsibilities, but there are times when collective effort is necessary. No matter the situation, a smart person would never say, "It's not my fault," or "It doesn't involve me" if things are going poorly. Behaving this way will surely convince your leader that you lack responsibility. Even if it truly isn't your fault, you should think about how to handle the situation with your team. At this point, your boss is likely more interested in solving the problem than assigning blame. So, this is also an opportunity for you to demonstrate your skills and ability to manage challenges. 2. I'm not available. I can't do it. Staying in your comfort zone in a team environment will hinder your personal growth. When a leader assigns you a task, it means they believe you are capable, or you should challenge yourself with new responsibilities. Therefore, don't hastily refuse an offer from your superior. You might be turning down a personal opportunity. If you quickly refuse a chance given by your boss, it will leave a bad impression. No leader wants to keep an employee who refuses to learn or improve. When faced with a difficult task, try to find a solution. Show eagerness to learn and willingness to tackle challenging and new tasks. Your boss will appreciate your progressive attitude and diligence. A person with high EQ always knows how to seize opportunities to grow and gain more experience. If you truly are too busy or feel incapable of handling a task, Communicate this to your boss as soon as possible. Offer legitimate reasons and convince your boss to avoid misunderstandings and unfair judgments. 3. I promise to try harder in the future. Another phrase high EQ individuals avoid in front of their boss is, I promise to try harder in the future. We should make promises at the right time and place, and importantly, follow through. If you make empty promises, your superior will likely become angry and disappointed. Instead of making promises, take active steps to work harder and change yourself. In work, we need to strive daily and hourly to improve ourselves, not just in the future. Thus, saying, I promise to try harder in the future carries little weight. Focus on actively improving your skills now. The results of your efforts are the best response you can provide to your leadership. Even if you've been underperforming recently and hope to improve in the future, making promises isn't necessary. If you don't show any improvement, your superior will continue to take your words lightly. 65. The truly fortunate are those who avoid 3 pitfalls in life. Life is full of traps and temptations. Seeing them for what they are and avoiding engagement ensures a peaceful existence. Being truly blessed by fate doesn't necessarily mean being wealthy. After all, blessing primarily refers to happiness. A peaceful, happy life is the real gift from above. Wealth doesn't always bring peace and happiness. Often, those with less money might live more contentedly. Thus, blessings can't be measured in monetary terms. In reality, a person who doesn't suffer significant losses, eats 3 meals a day, lives debt-free, and isn't controlled by anything, is indeed fortunate. To attain such blessings, it depends on our own actions. After interacting with many wise individuals, I've noticed they all share peaceful lives because they steer clear of these 3 things. Let's see if you've avoided them too. 1. Bad habits. We all have or had bad habits. It's part of being human. Perfection doesn't exist. Minor bad habits are harmless, but a series of destructive ones is a red flag. You must be alert to eliminate harmful habits immediately. Otherwise, you risk losing your blessings, health, and even dignity. For instance, staying up late on your phone can impair your eyesight and increase heart disease risks. People often develop habits to fulfill a need in life. Bad habits mostly arise to satisfy psychological needs and relieve stress. Drinking to relieve stress or staying up late due to worries are examples. A habit isn't necessarily bad if it's occasional and serves as a stress reliever or a personal reward. It becomes harmful when frequently practiced over a long period, affecting your life quality. If you're experiencing stress and anxiety, address it positively and remember not to let indulgence turn into addiction. 2. Associating with people of poor character. The old saying, choose your friends wisely, highlights the importance of selecting the right companions. This applies to friends, business partners, and even relatives. Wrong choices can not only make you uncomfortable but also impact your life trajectory, leading to numerous issues. For instance, a relative of mine became embroiled in family strife because of a bad friend who liked to stir discord and exploit situations. Eventually, this friend influenced my relative into similar behaviors, leading to further conflicts and troubles. Wise people never befriend those with significant character flaws. As such, individuals can taint their lives. 3. Wasteful spending. Financial management is a familiar topic among adults. Our lifestyles, eating, dressing, traveling, entertaining, and investing for the future all require money. Managing finances is like an operating system for our lives. One mistake can lead to many problems. Smart people avoid the addiction to spending. I know some who, due to extravagant habits, became boastful and arrogant. They judged everything by money and looked down on others. However, they often ended up emptying their wallets and had to borrow money to sustain their lifestyles. Over time, their behavior led friends to distance themselves. And adult spending habits reflect their self-discipline. Without discipline, one cannot achieve a quality life. Even divine help would be limited in such cases.
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.